So, Bravo, I just made a bowl that's half Dinty Moore and half freaking Hormel corned beef hash.
Mm.
That sounds like a gut explosion waiting to happen.
I never get sick from that shit. Never.
Well, good for you. I do.
According
everybody. Well, like I said last night,
Dinty Moore. The Dinty Moore is fine, but Hormel, basically Hormel anything is gut explosion territory for me.
Well, everybody's got different guts and like shit like that happens, but like literally shit like that happens. So that's what's funny. Like the sticks I was telling you about, the little turkey sticks from Aldi. Yeah, like this long. They taste great. They're fine, dude. Twice now I've narrowed it down. Those are the fucking culprit.
Is that what had you up at 2 a.m. last night?
Oh Christ, dude! It was explosive. I mean, it was like you wake up from the cramps and you're like, uh-oh, and you just know it's coming. Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, oh fuck,
this is an ordeal now.
Start to get worse.
I don't want to get out of bed because it's warm in bed, but my guts are saying otherwise.
But it's coming.
Just fucked up. They got more fucked up as it got closer, and now I'm sitting there going, yeah, like what Jake said, and I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed, but oh Christ, this is here. This is fucking happening. This is happening.
So how long were you?
Do I have enough time to get to the bathroom?
Well, it was I did. My bathroom's actually pretty close to my bed, but like I was sitting on there, and the first time it was like you had to get all the plug out, like the fucking regular shit that your colon hasn't like
the harder stuff.
You know, realize that it has to metabolize water and put it into your poop, and then all of a sudden, once those pebbles dropped out, it was like I was sitting down to pee. Is what it sounded like.
Just popping the cork on the champagne bottle.
There you go, and it was like
just the string.
Yeah, it was like somebody would have asked me, which they did before in my life, but like, why are you sitting down to pee? And I'd be like, I'm not.
That actually happened once.
Yeah, and basically, I think I never told you that story.
Someone thought you were peeing. No, I didn't. You told me that one,
dude. Yeah, so I'll tell it again for the people that are on here before we actually get on. So Jake knows this, but like there are like at the shitters and the ranges at Fort Benning when we went through. Were like just concrete slabs with like 6 holes that were drilled into them, and it's a cesspit, right? It's literally just you shit into a big fucking watery. It's an outhouse, right?
Right.
Like park shitters.
Yep. And they literally had a toilet seat just with 2 screws on it that would hinge onto the concrete. That's what would separate you, which is luxury compared to the boomers that were like, well, we didn't have that. Whatever. So anyway, I got dysentery.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
And I'm sitting out at a fucking range one morning. We were doing like an actual important qual range. I think it was like whatever, blah blah blah. But like so I ended up throwing up, and I threw up in front. There was the general that was actually the post commander was of Fort Benning he was like driving out to go to our range, and it was a big deal. And I was like, man, I'm like actually sick. And so I go out to the edge of the road when we're like kind of staging and shit. We're in full gear, mind you. We got sappy plates, our fucking pouches, our shit on, our rifles, my saw at that point. And I just go out and I just went up to the road and I'm like, I gotta throw up. It's coming. And so I just started puking. And then as I was throwing up, I'm not joking. You can ask the guys that are with me. The fucking general rolls up in his motorcade, and it was just like on fucking Patton. They've got the 2 like white stars on that red flag on the front of his fucking vehicle.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm sitting there like, and I'm sick as fuck, right? And this other guy is also like clockwork puking at the same time that I am. He had dysentery as well, and this guy was very skinny, very thin. And he was sick as fuck. Like dysentery is not. Yeah, you get the joke from fucking Oregon Trail and everything like that. Dysentery is awful.
Yeah, well, it was funny because you were you're gonna talk about this. I'm like, oh, good, a shit story. But I'm like, oh wait, this is not funny. Like this is
no, it gets worse too. So like I mean, yeah, while the people are flooding in, oh wow, all 9 people watching. But so anyway, that's the first like indication that something is wrong.
Right.
So we're sitting there, it's Georgia, it's like September, it's still pretty fucking hot. I'm sitting there in full battle rattle. All I did was like I opened up my vest and I took my helmet off at the range. And I'm sitting up against a tree and I'm just like, every sip of water I take, I violently throw it up. And I'm like,
Ugh.
I can't keep anything down. And I'm sitting there just going, like, I'm like almost unconscious. I'm not just
Right.
trying to sleep. This guy who was a former Marine, reclassed to infantry. He was an E5,
Mhm.
comes to me and he kicks me in the fucking leg. And he goes, "Get the fuck up, you lazy fucking piece of shit." And I'm like, it's not like that. It's not. He goes, "What the fuck is going on?" Blah blah blah. And then he just like leaves me alone.
Mhm.
And later on, he finds out because he comes back with a Gatorade. He goes, "Drink this; it'll make you feel better." And I was like, "Oh, thank Christ!" And I just uncapped that thing, and I just slammed it. And all of a sudden, it was like 5
Came back up.
seconds later, it was
Yeah.
coming back out. And he goes, "Oh shit!" And then he talked to other people. He's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were actually sick." I'm like, "I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I'm gonna die." And he's like, "You'll be all right." And I'm like, "Okay." So also, this is in full battle rattle,
Right. Yeah.
and so I walk over with this kid who's also sick as fuck.
Mhm.
We'll just call him Jason for the story. Um, and he's like dying. And so anyway, we were thrown up, and we go up to get an IV. And I said to one of the drill sergeants, this is a fucking stupid move. I said, "Drill sergeant, we're really sick. I'm really dehydrated, and so is Jason.
Monday now.
And we just need IVs." And he goes, "Oh, you're the medical expert. You know what the fuck you need, right?" And I rolled my eyes because I was like fading. I rolled my eyes, and he just fucking unleashes, and whatever. And so I was like, okay. So we walk away, and that's how I went and sat down. I'm like, oh, it feels like I'm gonna piss out of my fucking ass.
Yeah.
And so I did. I
Yeah.
walked to the shitters at the range, sit down, and I'm just sitting there in full battle rattle doing this whole thing,
Yep. Just taking it. Yeah.
just taking it.
Yeah.
And this dude comes in and starts pissing in the urinal, and he goes, "Why the fuck are you sitting down to piss?" And I said, "That's not piss." And he looked at me like, "Oh
Man,
fuck."
that is
I
fun.
said, "That's
dude.
not piss." And he's
Mhm.
like, "Oh shit." Like, "All right, bro. Good luck. I'm gonna go out and qualify." And but that was the thing, is like, so we eventually got IV treatment. That's a part of the story that I don't need to waste time
Yeah. You got to
talking
get all
about.
this shit from these assholes though, who just don't give a fuck.
Well, and then we were like, it was a bad day. It was a really fucking bad day.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the barracks, and then because I had eaten, because my drill sergeants that day in my platoon were actually like, they were like, "Okay, all right, you're sick. We're not gonna fucking scream at you and shit.
Right.
Get some rice, get some bread, whatever you can hold down, and keep drinking water, obviously, if you can." And so we did that, and then on the cattle car ride home, I was in the seat. Jake knows this. The seat
Hmm.
next to the fucking the door, where it's like actually
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, the best seat on the entire fucking cattle
Dude,
truck.
they were like, he's going in this seat in case he has to puke, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there, I'm just like barely conscious. Did not throw up on the cattle car. We get back, and then we're sitting there, and all of a sudden I felt my fever fucking spike.
Oh, nice.
Like, when you get like the chills, like really
Oh,
bad,
yeah.
like you're shivering, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. And so we're towing the line for our final formation for the night in our barracks, and we're doing like mail call and shit. And I was just like, oh god, dude, I'm gonna lose consciousness here.
Hmm.
And so I just walked to my fucking wall locker and opened it, grabbed my field jacket, which we were still issued, which is awesome. I grabbed that thing, and then I just literally collapsed. My bunkmate said that I collapsed. Like my head was in my wall locker and my
Right.
body was out, and the drill sergeants came over and were yelling at him, and then they were like, "Oh shit, he's
Mhm.
really fucking okay. We'll leave him there." Because
Yeah.
I remember like thinking like the floor is so cold. and I
Yeah.
need cold right now. I need to get a lot of this temperature gone.
Even though you were shivering.
He just literally lost consciousness while standing. Oh, we're just gonna leave him there. He's better where he's at.
Well, they no, but they didn't yell at me. They didn't kick me, or they weren't because at that point it's a medical thing.
Yeah,
and they knew, and so they actually do have mercy. But like, but they continue their fucking mail call thing, and my buddy got my bunkmate, Bronson from Boise, by the way.
Oh, nice.
That one I was telling you about him. Yeah,
you've told me about.
I don't want to say his first name, but like, he grabbed my mail for me and he put it in my locker, and he was taking care of me. He was a good sport, and I was so sick. And all of a sudden, I get up and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, oh, I gotta throw up again.
Jesus, dude.
And so I go, I like crawl into the fucking latrine in my marshmallows, like the white army suit, like that I wear, like the pants.
Yeah.
I crawl in there, I start puking, and I fucking shit and pissed and threw up at the same time.
Damn, dude. I mean, I would have been scared about dehydration at that point.
I was. That's why we got IVs, but that's a different part of the story that I glossed over that.
Yeah.
Had it not been for the IVs, I'd have been fucked.
Right, because it's like
yeah,
throwing up is already bad, but like also pissing and shitting, and it's just like
that's why dysentery, like you literally cannot keep anything down in your stomach.
That is a nightmare, dude. I hate throwing up more than anything in the world.
It's super bad.
Yeah,
it's bad for your body. Like it throws off your entire fucking electrolyte balance. It throws off your it's just you get a headache from it.
The worst I've ever had it was when I had to have my appendix removed, and I had that. It was like maybe a day or so of when it was like really infected and getting terrible, and to where I didn't it didn't explode, otherwise I'd be dead. But it was like 2 full days of just throwing up like anything. Like eventually you're just puking up bile. It's just like
you have nothing left, but like your body keeps trying to purge the
right. It's like, what is going on here? That's when you just need to go to the hospital. But I mean, I've never had that experience though, so that is fucking horrible.
Well, that was just dysentery. Like that was fucking insane. But like the IV thing, I'll say that on like a different stream. But like that dysentery is no joke, man.
It's one thing that you hear about a lot, like when you read about, war and stuff like that, the guys getting, but it's always something that's mentioned in terms of like, that's the last fucking thing you want.
Dude, you if you get dysentery, especially out in the field, like in combat, good luck, bud. Even with IVs, like good luck.
Ask Zeno about that next time he's on.
Yeah. And then there's the story that happened the morning after that, where a certain somebody who I didn't get along with, I got some retribution. But that's for a different time. I don't know if I'm ready to tell that publicly yet. You guys probably know that story.
I do know that. I know what you're talking about. Yes. You have told me about that.
Yep. I don't know, because I don't know if that motherfucker watches it or somebody who knows him watches it. I'm not going to give his name, but I did not like him, and that happened. So yeah, it's
I actually can relate to the whole puking thing until bad things start happening medically. 2010, right after we got back, I was working full-time in a factory wearing earplugs every day. And one morning I woke up and I could not, literally I could not move without just violently vomiting.
Really?
Yeah. I ended up getting some really, really nasty vertigo, like inner ear damage vertigo.
Oh, I've known people who have had that. My mom had that.
I was puking solid for hours straight.
Yeah.
It ended up turning into multiple days of literally not being able to move without puking.
Yeah.
You just lay there and the entire room feels like it's spinning.
Yeah. Like the worst drunk that you've ever had, where you're like when you're so drunk you're literally holding onto the floor hoping you don't fall off drunk. Magnified.
But you're
by
sober
10.
and for 4 days and you don't know why.
Magnified by 10.
Yeah.
I ended up puking so much that I was puking up clotted blood.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it looked like coffee grounds.
Oh man.
And
That's
I
some
made
gnarly shit, dude.
yeah, that's
I
not
made
good.
3 trips to the ER, and on the third, well, on one of the trips to the ER, they gave me the first trip to the ER, they gave me this anti-nausea medication that didn't fucking work.
Mhm.
And I actually have that. Hey, bud. I actually have that listed on my medical records as a do not give medication. I'm not allergic to it, but I have a very bad counter reaction to it. I almost ripped the IV out of my arm while ripping the pillow in half.
Mm.
So, and then the second trip to the ER, they actually did a CT scan on me. That one took quite a few years to pay off because I didn't have any insurance at this point.
Oh yeah.
And the third trip to the ER doc looked at me and said, "This is your third trip to the ER in less than 4 days for the same thing. And I see you don't have any insurance listed. And I also see that you just got back from Iraq less than a year ago. I'm sending you to the VA hospital in Madison."
Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you want, bud?
But yeah,
And so,
like medical shit's always fun.
Yeah,
and
I've had surgery 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Every time.
that was not good. Oh, and I literally just found out tonight. You might have seen me looking off screen because my wife came in and was holding up her phone so I could see her phone screen. But I literally just found out that my migraine claim for the VA was approved because I just got
rightfully
the back
so.
pay. I just got the back pay check from June of last year.
Cool.
So
Congrats, dude.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm assuming by the amount that they gave me that I'm now at 70% overall.
Yeah, well deserved, man. You did 2 fucking tours, and you didn't file for so long because you were discouraged from doing so. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Oh, Rob can't make it. He's
that's fine.
busy.
No, it's fine. All of our freaking medical shit aside, oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna have to microwave my fucking Dinty Moore corned beef hash combo.
I've been talking so long, I forgot it was there.
Yeah, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I think Jonesy said he was gonna pop on in a little
Oh,
bit.
cool.
Oh, good
Going
deal.
back to the root of this, how long were you on the toilet last night?
Oh, there we go. A couple hours, and then it was like, okay, it's over. And then I woke up at like 6, and I'm like, nah, it's not.
Yeah, to get another wave. Another
Round
wave
2.
came.
Oh, you've been with me like in hotels and like shit like that. Like you
Yes.
know how it works. Like
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, we're good, and then you're like, all right, can I go to bed now? And then I just frantically like, rush to the bathroom and just fucking shit my brains out.
That was like that. There was
Oh,
that one
mama.
morning when I was staying at your place. We're like, we're gonna go to breakfast in the morning, and then the next morning, you're
Oh
like,
man.
it's not happening.
Well, yeah, that was because of the fucking pizza. Yeah, that was
Yeah, that was
the
damn good
salad.
pizza.
And I was eating that fucking salad that had a bunch of croutons on it, and I was like, oh shit, I'll just pick them off. It didn't work.
Didn't work at all.
Yeah, my guts have always been. That's the one thing in my like family lineage is like my guts are pretty fucking sensitive.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah,
We don't have a lot of cancer or anything like really fucking drastic.
yeah.
We have annoying things.
Annoying,
like,
fucking sensitive
yeah,
diarrhea,
rheumatoid
digestive
arthritis, weak guts, sensitive guts. You know, it's like, you know, okay, I can deal with that. If I can live to be 95 fucking years old and know what I can and cannot eat
Yeah,
and fuck around with it once in a while, I'm fine with that. But some people are just genetically like predisposed to like really bad shit, and I'm like, I'm not. So
though there are
but
some people I know who can just—they're like a garbage disposal. They can eat.
oh,
anything
me
and
too,
be
man.
fine. Yeah,
Dude, these people can fucking go to India.
yeah.
They can fucking go to India and eat street food from sun up to sundown and be totally fine. And I'm like, how in the fuck is that possible?
I used to be like that before my vertigo incident. Now I can't keep anything down. Now I get acid reflux, if I eat too much salt.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like your digestive tract is literally your second brain. It is that important to your body. And so
it actually has its own nervous system.
It does. And so if something's off in that, it's really hard because your brain is difficult to kind of assess and like figure out what's wrong with it. If there's something wrong with it, your digestive tract, people always just like, oh, well, it's all in your head. Okay,
Yeah.
part of it. But also your gut controls most of your well-being.
It's called the enteric nervous system, if anybody
Yes.
cares to know.
See, yeah, the thing is that because I have acid reflux as well, and if it's like if I have too much, fried things, or if I have too many sweet things, it's just like, God, I'm not going to be happy for a while.
Well, then what's cool is like, remember like that time I was like drinking apple cider vinegar? You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
And
because I'm like, why the fuck would you drink that? You're like, try it. And I was like, immediately kills the fucking acid reflux.
Because it's a lack of acid that your stomach's producing. Because
Yeah.
your body's like, what I found out about that is like your body is treating whatever food you ate as like a fucking a threat,
invasive,
basically.
yeah,
a threat, a threat. And so when you have more acid in your stomach, that usually kills most of the threats, right?
Right.
But and so apple cider vinegar is also really good for you. It's got a bunch of good bacteria that feed your stomach, and it provides acid. And because you were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Just trust me on this. You want?" So you're like, "Just give me the fucking thing."
Yeah.
And then you did, and you're like, "Dude, I feel so much." And I've had several friends who I've done that with.
Let me say, ever since then, I mean, look back here. You can see on my shelf. I always have a bottle. Yeah.
Yep. And it's dude, it's the stuff with the mother in it, the bacteria, like the big shit.
That's the one I always get.
Yeah. And so it does go a long way. And it's like, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you advice. It's what works for myself. It's what works for Michael and several of my other friends. And it's cheap. And it's cheap. Fucking natural.
Yeah. And I don't have to fucking fall into the scam of Tums and all that shit, all the antacids.
Well, right, because it's like that. You would think it's reduce acid, but that's not the problem. Is the problem is your stomach lining starts freaking out because there's something that's a threat and invasive, and it gets swollen. You get gastritis, and it feels like heartburn and shit, and it'll pop acid around, and it freaks out. If you put more acid in there and the bacteria in apple cider vinegar. Oh, kombucha. I drink that shit every fucking day. Yeah, Zeno.
I used to drink that. I haven't drank that for a while, but I've thought about drinking that again.
I drink it every fucking day.
Really?
I tried it. I can't stand it.
Well, some people can't.
Yeah.
It's fine. But like
wife likes it.
I didn't mind the taste of it.
Well, that's the thing is you find your flavor, because some flavors I don't like them either.
Right.
But you find your flavor, and I have the big fuckers of that in my fridge right now as we speak, and I'm actually gonna probably drink some when I go take a piss. But like I drink that shit all day, every day, and it really helps with that. And then I'm gonna start fermenting my own sauerkraut again.
Oh, nice.
So it's like it's raw, and I can just eat it. I'm not gonna cook it because it takes the bacteria away. But no, your body, and kefir also. I think, Mike, you had that when you were here.
I might have.
Like yogurt kind of drink.
Yes, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, kefir. That also has your body is made, your digestive tract is made up of bacteria. It literally is.
Yeah.
It's cells and bacteria, and if that bacteria is out of balance, you're going to have problems.
The gut biome.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very important. And like, it sounds all hippy dippy, but if you think it's hippy dippy, whatever, like if you're having problems, just know that like people, when they ate food back in the day, they ate a lot of food with a lot of bacteria on it. And
that's one of the, sorry to interrupt, but this is an important tangent. That's one of the things that absolutely drives me fucking up the wall about modern food safety bullshit. It's like, no, your food is not supposed to be sterile.
No, it's not at all.
Your food prep services are not supposed to be sterile. You're not supposed to be able to do open heart surgery on your fucking stove.
No, exactly. Like, that's the thing, is like, clean is one thing. Clean. But like,
get rid of all the food particles from the last meal.
There was a dude that was on Joe Rogan about it was probably in 2020. He was a farmer, not the restorative farming guy. He's also really fucking cool. But there's another dude that like he says he drinks the same water that his cows does, or he just does that because it's like
Yeah.
we've all got a fucking bacteria and whatever things surrounding us, and we all need to be one with that biome.
Yeah.
And chemicals and shit like that, mainly since like the Industrial Revolution, have taken that shit and kind of killed a big part of it. And our biomes, I think, this is my opinion. This is not a fact, by the way. I think our biomes are just really out of whack. And go ahead.
Did you see the recent news where a lot of municipalities in the U.S. and Canada are actually talking about removing the fluoride from their water systems?
And why the fuck they just went with that?
I saw the study 10, 12 years ago where they determined that fluoride is a neurotoxin along the same lines as mercury.
Correct. Yes.
And it took until now before it started hitting the news.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing is like how many times have you guys drank water out of a creek? Like when you're out in the woods and like how many times have you just taken water out of a creek?
I did it all the time on my grandparents' farm growing up. My grandparents' farm was up by Rice Lake.
Yeah.
They had a spring-fed creek that ran through their property along the slope of the Blue Hills. I'd go down to the ford, and I would just drink water straight out of the creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're still alive.
Well, my grandparents had a creek that ran through their property, and like during the springtime, that thing would get so full.
Yeah.
That and it was cold. So yeah, you could come down and like, it's fine to drink out of it. You could see to the bottom of it. I mean, it's not like brown or anything.
Crystal clear water.
Yeah, and they also had their water, the entire property. Their water came from a well, their own personal well. So it was, it wasn't like we had water that was city water or anything like that.
Well,
so
what Zeno just said is important too. Like, yes, there can be bacteria, there can be illnesses
Parasites.
in there, whatever. But if you've got a creek that is tried and tested by people who have come before you, and it's like your parents are drinking out of that, your grandparents are drinking out of that, and they're not getting sick, it's, dude, some fucking water that I've seen that's passed on to people, not bottled water per se, because they have a liability issue, because they have to be held to a standard. But they also, here's the thing, is they also remove a shitload of minerals out of that. And I think people had survived for so fucking long drinking water, and yes, some people got sick. That's just the way. Hey, here's the thing, in life you're gonna get sick.
Well,
you might die from it, but like
if you're drinking from clear flowing water, rapidly flowing water, not just like a trickle, but if it's rapidly flowing enough to actually, create rapids if it hits an obstacle, and it's clear, generally speaking, it's safe-ish to drink. It's not going to kill you to drink it.
I've never had any issues with that either. Exactly what Mike said. It's like your mileage may vary, but I've never actually gotten
survival
sick from
advice.
No, it's not. It's just our experiences. And so I've never gotten sick from drinking water out. Like we were doing a canoe trip a couple years ago, the Nemacolin River, right? Up north. And it's a fucking beautiful river. Northern Wisconsin. Highly recommend it. There's little like, DNR stops and shit. Like you can go to a campsite and shit. And like there's, things available. But like the water is so good. And in certain spots, I was like, I'm out of water right now. And my buddy had the filter. And I said, fuck it. And I just grabbed a canteen cup and I just in the river. I was like, fuck it. If I get sick, I get sick. And I drank it. It didn't happen.
Nice.
It was heavy water. It was very heavy water. Like you could taste the minerals and like the sediment in it.
Yep.
But I think our bodies are designed to filter out a certain amount of that and use a lot of those minerals from the water itself. And so that's just my opinion. But like yeah, I mean, I've gotten lucky so far. I know there's places where I'm like, that looks like danger. I'm gonna follow my intuition. Fuck that. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
shit
drink that
water, no
water.
thanks. Yeah.
Even if it's filtered, I'm like, is the
Yeah.
filter okay?
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, like no fucking way would I ever just drink water out of like a cement canal that's going through a city
Oh
or
fuck
something
no.
like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
John Madden over here. You know?
my grandparents' creek was a known source, and it was a known
Right.
quantity.
That's the thing. It's like I wouldn't just do that with anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew where the headwaters of that creek were.
Right.
Mhm.
And then also, what's weird about like moving water, like when you're talking about a creek or a stream or a river, is like, yeah, they all come from a certain spot or a couple certain spots, like a spring usually or several. And the more they go down, the more they filter themselves in the rocks and the sand and the vegetation, and the fish and everything that's living in there.
Mhm.
And so, unless there's like, see, one of the things I read about the Civil War, and I know Trey's not on here, so I'm not gonna fucking go way into this, but like, it's been since time began with like warfare and shit. Is unless you've got like bodies bleeding and rotting upstream,
Mhm.
most of the time, like you can drink that water. Again, this is not survival advice. This is not fucking whatever. This is in my experience. And,
Mhm.
you know, um, some of the best water I've actually had is at Interstate Park, Jake. We were there.
Yeah.
And my wife and I went there, and I was like thirsty, and so was the Poopaloop, the Weasel Horse, the Whisker Beaked Weasel Horse, whatever, Cody. He was thirsty, and I'm like, and she goes, "Can we drink this water?" I was like, "Yeah." So I grabbed my hand and I went. It was fucking excellent. It was
Yeah, coming right
ice
out of the
cold.
river.
Oh, well, it was also in spring, so it was like
Yeah.
just melting, and I'm like, this is excellent.
Yeah, that's actually the best time because you get all of the fresh
Oh yeah,
all of the fresh snow melt.
yep,
It flushes the entire the entire hydrological system.
yeah, and I don't know, it's just good. Like, here's the thing: nowadays, if you get sick from drinking wild water, there is medical attention available. You know,
Mhm.
I wouldn't advise doing it, but if you know kind of relatively what you're doing and like you know what to look for, it's definitely. I mean, how did people do it for fucking millions of years? How did people do it?
Yeah, they certainly didn't boil water every time they took it out of the river.
Like,
But
yeah, a lot of times they
you
couldn't.
know, but people for millions of years also knew, hey, it's better to drink this water that's out of this rapidly flowing river than it is to drink it out of this stagnant pond.
Mhm.
There you go. Like, yeah, exactly. And people had to find out the hard way throughout history, unfortunately. Like,
Props to
I
all
mean,
those who have died to bring us those lessons.
or had like fucking blistering fucking lava shits where they prolapsed and like, oof. Like, I get it, but like, here's the thing: is we are where we are at for a certain reason or a
Mhm.
multitude of them. And water. Here's the thing: you can survive 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks approximately without food.
Mhm.
Water is very fucking important next to air.
Yeah. That's now you can go a while without food, but I mean your just body just can't do it without water.
Right. You can't because we're all made of water. We're like
Yeah.
what is it? Jake, do you know the actual percentage of like,
We're
70
like
something.
between 70 and 80% water.
yeah. So we're water. We need it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, there's a way that you can get it. The earth provides it. Um, I think a lot of cities have a big problem. And that's the thing, is like, I don't think humans are made to live in like that big of a city
Mhm.
and like provide for it and all that shit. Like they they have like huge reservoirs for LA. There's no like natural water that can sustain that population there.
Right. The
And
that city is fucked when it comes to water too. I mean, it's
right, right,
it's
right.
complete drought. You're not allowed to water your lawn. It's
Yep.
yeah, completely fucked.
And like New York City is like they get snow, they get rain, they get water and shit, but like it's still like so many people in one area. It's hard to
Mhm.
sustain that amount of need because people need what not just for drinking, but like we need to bathe because
Yeah,
then
we
we
need
get
to wash.
infections. We
Yeah.
get shit like that if we don't. I don't think we need to bathe every day.
Hmm.
It's nice to be able to, for sure.
And the smart people who bathe right before they go to bed.
Are you a night shower guy?
Yes,
Yeah, me too.
I'm a night shower guy.
I've always no, I used to be when I was a kid. I was a night shower guy, and then I became a morning shower guy because it woke me up. It kind of gave me that pep in the step. And
Yeah.
also, I took really fucking hot showers, like
Yeah, but
steaming hot.
if you shower in the morning, then you're crawling into your sheets filthy from the
I
day.
get the whole fucking argument. I'm not a fucking child. I know this. So like it's like I get that, but like for whatever reason, I didn't. It's just I've kind of been that way most of my life. Is just get in the shower in the morning, and it helps me wake up and stimulate to like get going.
Hmm.
So
Well, I know a lot of people do that. I've known people who if they take showers in the morning and they take them cold as ice because it wakes them up.
oh
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's the opposite of mine. But like I like hot. Yeah, some people like cold,
Yeah.
and
I
that
can't do that personally, but yeah, some people.
it's a lot of stimulation. Cold.
Yeah.
See, to me, cold is more because I've had this. So when I was living down in St. Paul, I was living at a guy's house, and he a friend of mine, and he's like, I don't know how you can take showers in the morning, dude. That's way too much stimulation. And he's like, but if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna take a cold shower.
Right.
And I was like, no, I do hot, like piping fucking hot, like almost scalding hot. And so everybody's got their own fucking thing.
Yeah.
And
I love
I just don't have. I don't have time to take a shower in the morning because it's like 15 minutes from the time my alarm goes off until the time I'm in my truck working.
Right.
That's another thing too. I like to just throw my clothes on and head out the door.
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm willing to wake up earlier and like spend a half hour in the fucking shower just fucking smoking.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't
not
stay up.
Smoking cigarettes, but
you don't stay up too late. I
don't. I've always been kind of an early, like I go to bed pretty fucking early, and I'll wake up a half hour ish earlier than what most people do. That's what I did in basic and in the military in general. Is like and in my life, in my average life, is like I'll just wake up and like sit in the shower and just it's like a sauna, I guess. Maybe I should get a sauna instead of like doing that, and then
that'd be fun.
Do a fucking shower at night and then a fucking sauna in the morning. Because that's
Sounds
basically the same effect.
Yeah,
you're just the sweat's all getting wiped off you though as you're doing it.
That'd be fun too in the freezing cold like winter to go into that.
Something
like that.
Dude, we fucking. I think I told Mike about this. Jake, I don't know if I told you about it. So there's a guy that I knew, or I know him still, but like Madeline Island, he had a cabin, right? And
why is Madeline Island familiar to me?
It's the Apostle Islands.
Oh, yep, that's why.
It's outside of Bayfield.
Yep, I know where it's at.
And so Mike, so this is like the North Shore of Wisconsin in Lake Superior, right? So he had a cabin up there, and we went up there and we ate great, we partied and everything, and he had a fucking like a proper sauna with a fucking wood stove and rocks.
Yeah,
and then he had like stairs that you could sit on. That son of a bitch got up to like 190, 200 degrees. You'd sit in there until your fucking eyes were bleeding. And because I would sit in there and I'd be like, I can't see. We got to get out. It raises your body temperature. And then we go and we run about, 20, 30 yards. Or no, it was about 50 yards across the street. And we jump into Lake Superior, which was like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
We did that, and we would do that 3 times. It was a 1, 2, 3 deal.
God, what a rush, Jesus,
dude!
Lake Superior never gets much warmer than about 60 degrees.
No, that's really cooking. But it was about 40, and so we're sitting there, and we did that, and your body feels so fucking loose, and just like you get no cramps, whatever. You're just fucking loose. You feel good. Your mind is good. It is a shock though, jumping in when your body's that hot.
Oh,
and then you run, and then you go jump into fucking Lake Superior. But it was like it was so fucking refreshing, and I love that lake. Lake Superior, man. Like Mike, sometime we're gonna go up there,
I'd love it.
and it's
That sounds like a rush, dude. I'd love that.
it's the biggest fucking freshwater lake geographically, not depth wise, but
Yeah.
like that one in Russia that nobody gives a fuck about. Yeah, Baikal, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Lake Superior is fucking gorgeous. It's so relaxing, and the water is so cold, and it's crystal fucking clear.
Yeah.
It's a little bit red, but yeah, it's crystal clear.
No, it's not. Where did you go to?
Superior. Duluth Superior. It's
Well,
red from all the iron.
Yeah, because of the fucking ships. If you go to Madeline Island, or you go up to like Grand Marais or some shit, or like up on that part of it, like Lutzen and all that shit, Tofta, Silver Bay, which also has shipping, but it's not as bad. Dude, that fucking water is crystal clear to the bottom. Oh man, I fucking love that lake. It's amazing.
I mean, it's really clear and Superior, but there's a definite red tint to it.
There's not in most parts, I assure you. I assure you.
Comment on that, but no, I'd love to go there. But I love the north, dude. You know, even though I live in the desert, I do love the north.
Yeah, I mean, because you came here. We were doing business a few trips, but like you came here in the fall and went down to Illinois.
Yep.
And we drove through pretty much the entire state on 94 and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking gorgeous, man. Like
yeah,
with the leaves and the fucking.
Zeno's got a spare room.
You've been sending pics.
Zeno's got a spare room.
Yeah.
You've been sending pics through Discord about the trees changing colors, and that's just I love that stuff. You know that
man,
fall.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love this time of year, and it's been a great fall so far.
Yeah, it looks like it up there. The leaves have started to finally fall off the trees here, but yeah, we're getting into the yellowish red kind of area.
So how long did
the wind picked up here in the last few days, and it knocked most of the leaves off the trees?
Yeah, it's been yeah.
Okay.
That's valid. But like so how long does your fall last out in Idaho?
Until like late November, I would say.
Really?
Yeah. So that's like when late November, early December, late November, early December is when the snow starts to really finally come.
Okay.
And the leaves are all gone at that point. But no, it goes through November still. Like this trees are still shedding leaves and stuff.
Yeah,
it's not all just one big dump.
Yeah, we're probably due for a cold front here, probably within the next like week or two.
Yeah.
And we usually get our first snow around Halloween or like the 1st of November.
That early?
Yeah, it's usually a big dump of snow.
Mm.
So I mean, because you were out here in February in 2022.
Yep,
it's going to be in the 70s next week.
Really? So we're having that kind of fall. Excellent.
It's going to be in the 70s next week, and then it's going to be in the 50s after that for like the next week and a half.
Dude, I'm fine with that. I'm fucking fine with that. That's a nice fall. Like it's I love the crisp air too, man, because it rained here yesterday. Like it was thunderstorming. And
yeah, it did last night.
Yeah, and because that whole system moved over to where you're at. But like
you actually got a lot more of it than we did.
Yeah. We always do. Like the fucking river always it either weakens or strengthens. Yeah, but it either weakens or strengthens the storm, and then it'll build and it'll move south to where you're at, like southeast. But last night it was like wet this morning. But that's fine because then the leaves stay on the trees longer.
Mm.
You know?
That's cool.
I think it also extends. I think the rain also extends the rut, the whitetail rut.
So they might not be. Well,
because they move around a lot more right before and after rainstorms.
Yeah, so we'll see the hunters. Like, if you're hunting in Wisconsin, you're watching. Good luck. I'll probably do it next year.
While I'm driving. Don't shoot me while I'm driving by.
So far, only once this year, or since the fall weather starts, so only once in the morning have I had to scrape ice off my windshield frost. But
I think the total count for now is 6.
Okay, so it's more regular for you.
Well, here's the thing: is it's fucking. You got frost on your fucking windshield in the morning,
yep.
And then it's 70 degrees in the afternoon. So you have to turn your heat on your car in the morning, and then you're like opening your windows and like, oh shit, it's fucking hot in here. in the afternoon.
That happened today when I was driving home. I mean, because every morning I have the heat on. Then when I was driving home and I'm wearing this, I'm like, "Fuck, it's hot in here." I'm like, "Oh, the heat's still on." I had to turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. Do we do that shit
Roll the
all the
windows
time
down.
here? Yeah. It's like make up your fucking mind. It's like
You're walking around wearing a hoodie and shorts.
Well, yeah, that's why I just go out. I've learned in like
what I
the
have on
morning.
right
I'll
now.
just wear this. I'll just wear a heavy T-shirt, a Duluth
Mhm.
Trading Company T-shirt, and like pants, and I'm good for the whole day. And then I
Mhm.
can wear shorts in the afternoon if I so choose. But like it's really interesting here. But like no, so Mike, like when you came down here in 2021, we
Mhm.
went down to Illinois. That was actually a pretty cold winter.
It was pretty cold.
Yep, because when we went down to Illinois, it was pretty chilly. And that was a fall. That's usually how our falls are up here.
Yeah.
They're like chilly and windy and kind of whatever like that. And then you came back in February, right before we did Reveille,
Mhm.
and you know, it's like this is you got an actual good taste of what our winters are like.
Yeah, well, and it was right as I arrived that day that I was chasing boxes and like in the
Yep,
snow
yep,
and it was like snowy wind, like the
yep.
wind had snow in it.
And it's dry. It's drier than a nun's box. It's just fucking, it's gross. But it was fun because like, you get to see it. And then I remember you like we were driving back. So Jake, we were driving up 97 or yeah, it's 97 that goes through Marine and all that shit through Stillwater, driving up north or south to north. And Mike's like, what is that like open area right there? And I'm like, oh, it's the St. Croix River. you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's a fucking river. I'm like, yeah, it's frozen over, man. Like,
Yeah, I'd never seen a frozen river before.
we should. Did you ever walk on ice up here?
No, we talked about that, but I didn't do it.
Well, it was the weather when you were up here was like brutal.
It
Like
was
it
pretty
was like a
cold,
fucking
yeah.
storm, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
And there's
But
like a ski lodge not far from your place that you can see. And I remember that
dude,
was going.
next time, just to fuck around, we
Mhm.
should have like a congregation of retards, and you should fucking try skiing or
No,
snowboarding.
I've skied before. Like we have the bogus ski lodge up
Sure.
here. Like I've done it before, but I mean I haven't done it there before.
Well, because I want to kind of get back on the skis. Skis are fucking fun.
And I haven't skied since I was 15. So yeah, it's been a while.
Right. Yeah, same here. So we should definitely do that because my neighbor, the one, Dave, you remember him?
Yep, I remember him.
He's like he used to snowboard like a motherfucker.
Nice. I've
And
never been on a snowboard before, but I've skied
I
a lot.
I was once, and here's the thing is I'm gonna try it again
Yeah.
because fuck this. Like when I first went on it, my balance has always been like really bad.
Yeah.
And it's because I always overthink things. I'm wondering if I could fucking do it better now. Because like my
Maybe.
brother-in-law is a really good snowboarder.
Mhm.
He's a fucking fantastic, like he goes all over the country in snowboards, goes
Yeah.
over the world in snowboards. I'm wondering if I could get him out there and he could teach us at the place that
That'd be
is right
fun
next to me.
because I
Yeah,
mean, again, I haven't skied in it's been well over a
me too.
decade now. Yeah,
I
but
think I was like
it's fun as hell.
12 or
Mhm.
13 last time I
Yeah,
did it. So
I would
that'd
love
be
it.
fun to get a crew of retards together, and just go to.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get Bravo.
When was the
We'll
last time you skied or snowboarded?
Oh fuck! It's been a long time.
See, we'd all be
Yeah.
wiping out. It would be great.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. You're gonna eat shit when you do
Yeah.
it. You're
Last
gonna
time
eat shit.
I was a junior in high school on a band trip to Colorado, and the night before we arrived in Denver, Denver got hit by a like once in a half century blizzard that dumped
Oh,
like that dumped
fresh
like 10
powder,
feet.
bro. Fresh
It dumped like
powder.
10 feet of snow on Denver the night we got into Colorado.
Yeah, yeah.
And we got into Denver and the entire fucking city is closed down.
Oh no, no.
The whole reason for
sucks.
us going on this trip on this band trip to Denver was to perform at Denver area schools that didn't have music programs anymore due to budget cuts, and all the schools were closed for the entire fucking week.
That sucks ass.
And so our band director and our chaperones were trying to figure out, okay, we got 80 high school kids out here. The whole reason for us being here is in the trash. What do we do with them now? Hey, let's go to Winter Park, Colorado, and go skiing in the Rocky Mountains.
Hey, that's fun. There's some mountains for you.
The night after a major, like couple of days after a major blizzard went through the area. So that was the last time I went skiing.
And how was it? Did you eat shit a lot?
I actually got altitude sickness.
Oh yeah. Yep, that'll do it.
Yeah, I got up to the top of the hill. I ended up having to walk halfway down the hill because I got altitude sickness.
Oof, not good. But no, I'd love that. We should get Leander out here. Have him his Scandinavian.
No.
Show us what to do.
When we're starting,
yeah,
you can't have somebody like Leander come on and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? This is how it's done, man."
His fucking Scandinavian.
If he comes on a skiing trip, he's probably just going to be like, a glow of light around him, like an aura of light around him. He's probably going to just be levitating like like a religious god or something. Just
like the light at the end of a Grinch Stole Christmas.
The whole fucking ski resort is based on like Norwegian, Swedish, and Finnish like culture, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Leander would be like, yeah, this is very nice, but these are bunny hills.
Yeah.
That's what he'll be like. He'll be like, these are bunny hills. I enjoy it, but
I've seen some triple black diamonds in the Grand Tetons.
There's a single black diamond here, and I watched somebody
fall down it.
I won't talk about that. No, not fall. I won't talk about that on here. It's pretty fucked up.
So, where my mother lives, a bit north from where I am, there's a giant ski lodge up there as well, and she works at the hospital up there in the offices, and she says that during the wintertime, 90% of the emergencies they get are people who are fucked up from skiing.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's all it is, pretty much. Like the ski injuries.
They've always tried to fucking do shit that they know they shouldn't, and yet they try. And
yeah,
sometimes doesn't work out that well.
Yeah, not gonna end well, dude. You're gonna find
a lot of compound fractures, which is not good.
Oof. No, she's told me before, like, because she has to deal all the X-rays. She's shown me pictures of, and it's like you see the bones, and it looks just like
powder,
concrete broken.
Yep, exactly. It's just shit. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Cool Runnings? The movie Cool Runnings
in the theater.
In the theater?
In the theater. That was one of the first movies I remember going to.
I'll be right back, but I'll be listening.
In like 1992.
Yeah, I fucking love Cool Runnings. John Candy has the line in it. Don't worry, your bones don't break in a bobsled. They shatter.
Hey, Sanka, you dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. You can pee now. Too late. That's a great movie. We should watch that. We should do a commentary on Cool Runnings.
Yes, but we also have an Escanaba into Moonlight screening coming up next month.
Okay, when I was up hanging out with Mike, he showed me that movie. He and Devin showed me that movie, and they didn't say a single thing about it. They were just like, "You should watch this movie," and I was in complete shock the whole time. I didn't know what to make of it. That it was a surreal experience, dude.
The next time you watch it, you'll be laughing your ass off.
I mean, I could see the humor in it, but I'm just like,
and then the time after that, the third time you watch it, you'll be quoting it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Well, the whole time I'm turning to Mike and Devin, I'm like,
and
what's
they're laughing.
Happened?
They're rolling in laughter.
I don't think they were. They were just sitting there watching it with me, and I'm like, what's happening? And they're just like, just keep watching.
Yes, Zeno, Tuesday there. But no, every November, in Mike's Discord, we watch Escanaba into Moonlight.
You fucking youpers.
We are not youpers. Youpers are a strange breed, and we respect the hell out of them.
Yeah, isn't that what the movie's about, though?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like to me anyway. I didn't know what I'd never heard of pasties before. Until
pasties are delicious. It's like a pie crust.
Yeah.
Has Mike ever described them to you?
Well, he did when we were watching the movie because they kept talking about that in the movie.
Yeah.
And finally,
I
like,
actually
okay,
have some. I actually have some in the freezer.
Oh, nice. But I was like, okay, time
Um,
out, guys. Like, I'm sorry to be ignorant, but what the fuck is a pasty? And like, they both knew what it was, of course.
Yeah,
They
it's
described it
like
to
a
me.
pie crust. Well, it is a pie crust.
Mhm.
Think of like a calzone,
Yeah.
except instead of pizza, it's a pie crust with beef stew in it, except no
Yeah.
gravy.
So super, super filling.
Very filling.
Yeah.
It's basically chunks of beef,
Yep.
Mhm.
like roast type meat.
Yeah.
It's very
Um,
serious food.
potatoes, rutabaga. Sometimes there's corn in it. Sometimes there's
parsnips,
sometimes there's
turnips,
peas in it.
yeah.
But just think of beef stew minus the gravy
Yeah.
and stuffed into a pie crust that's folded in half.
Well, then when Jamie and I were together, we had these neighbors who were from Alaska, and she invited them over to, hang out with them and stuff like that. And yeah, they were like, they started talking about, and that was one of the things, like, oh, you need to come over. We need to make pasties with you. I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, those things.
Dude, again, this is it's very serious food.
Uh-huh.
For like, like the environment that you witnessed.
Yeah.
That's how people eat, because you have to be. Yeah.
So where they come from, and I actually asked somebody this at a pasty shop in Escanaba. So the history of pasties is, what were they? Were they Welsh or Cornish? Immigrants moved to that part of the country, and all of them were copper and iron miners in Britain. So when they moved to the U.S. and they moved into very iron and copper rich country of the UP, and they all became miners. Well, they brought the cuisine, the mining cuisine with them, because they would make pasties at home, and they would just take a pasty with them into the mine because it was something that they could carry.
It's a mobile food. Yes.
Yeah, it's something they could carry, but it was something that had enough calories to fuel them all day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also that pie crust, the puff pastry, whatever the fuck it was on the outside, is like coated in fucking lard.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Lard or butter. Like, so
Yep.
it's like sealed. You can literally put it in a bag, and this fucking thing has like probably about 2,000 calories in it, right?
I was gonna say, it sounds like the most filling thing ever.
Oh yeah, no, it's very serious food.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's not like your good French cuisine that's got, maybe 400 or 500 calories per meal, and even with your 7 courses. No, this is very serious food.
Yeah.
And it's made for a purpose. Like, these guys were like fucking starving forever. They're like, how in the fuck can I didn't know that was English and Cornish, like, or Welsh and Cornish, but like wherever it came from, who gives a fuck? These guys are working their asses off. And so it's a literal, like, fucking preserved fucking calorie bomb.
I actually ate one on stream about a year ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. They're rich, dude. Like, if you're not actually working physically, it'll wear you down.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm actually going to shut off my background blur.
But no joke, I'd never heard of it until watching that movie.
I mean, this one is frozen, obviously, but
yep, that's a pasty for sure. Yep. And there's probably about like, the original ones were a little bit bigger, if I remember correctly, and like they're about 2,000 calories per fucking pasty.
But yeah, this one has been in the freezer now for probably 4 years. And I would have absolutely no issues throwing it in the oven and heating it up and eating it.
Right, because everything's already cooked. Like you said, it's like stew meat, like roast meat.
Yep.
With all those other ingredients, and it's dry. That's the thing, is there's not a lot of liquid in it.
And it is from Dauber's Pasties, which is the best pasty restaurant in the UP. Dauberspasties.com, and they do ship internationally.
Oh, it is a big ass pierogi. It's on steroids. Yep. No, pasties. And that's the thing, is like, that's a very I don't know why. Why the fuck? So Jake, like, are they like more widespread? Or is that just a straight Upper Midwest thing?
That's a UP thing. It's a straight
Well,
UP
but it's
thing.
Wisconsin too.
Very very little of it comes into Wisconsin, and when it does, it doesn't.
Well, then how
come
the
very
hell did
far
I know
south.
about them?
Because it's still a cultural phenomenon in this part of the country.
So it's a very specific to this very small part.
Extreme upper Midwest.
Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because like I said, I've never heard anyone talk about them. But
I should get some
they're-
fucking gluten-free fucking puff pastry and make a fucking pasty.
Pie crust. Make some gluten-free pie crust. 'Cause
No,
that's
dude,
what it
puff
is.
pastry. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be a fucking nerd and do that. Puff pastry is way better than pie crust. But yeah, I could do that. I've made gluten-free pot pies for myself and
Oh,
my
yeah.
wife. Like but it's puff pastry is so much better.
I
It's
don't know
flakier.
I don't know what that is.
So pie crust is like more dense and shit like that.
Yeah, of course.
But like puff pastry is, if you layer it right, it is flaky. It's like a biscuit basically, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So where
I
you get
got
like a biscuity kind of effect out of a pie crust
Yeah.
instead of it being like just super dense.
Yeah.
So
So
does
it's
that
like
make
those
sense? Yeah.
those flaky layered biscuits.
Yes.
Kinda?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yep.
love those things.
Dude, that's what puff pastry is.
Nice. Okay.
And it's like croissants, you know. A
Yeah.
lot of
mhm.
shit's made with puff pastry. That whole kind of idea behind it. But like, yeah,
Nice.
if I made pasties, that's what I would fucking do it with, and it would be fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because again, I love those kind of biscuits with that stuff. But yeah, never had them. Never had them before, so it would be a
Yeah.
complete foreign experience.
Well, if you had it, man, you'd be like, you'd be addicted to it. It's like H, you know, where you're like, oh, the first one's free, dude. We'll make you this one. And
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I
Then you're
need these
hooked.
fucking things. It literally that food sticks to your fucking bones.
Nice. Damn, dude.
So,
Um.
oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love pasties. I actually
Yes.
want to make a trip up to Escanaba just to get some fresh pasties. 'Cause
Yeah,
I have 2 left.
yeah. They
And
make them really the best up there, obviously. So
the problem is that I used to drive right past Dauber's pasties with the last company I worked for. Like, we had a customer up there I would drive past on my way into the customer and on my way out, and I would always stop on my way out and pick up a couple.
yeah.
And I don't work for them anymore, so I don't go up there.
Mm.
It's actually quite a long drive. It's almost a 4-hour drive up to Escanaba from here.
Yeah, it's a fucking haul.
Actually, it is a 4-hour drive up to Escanaba from here.
You drive for a fucking living, so you don't think of it the same way as us fucking plebs.
Yes,
But,
but the problem is that driving for a living means that when it comes to driving when I'm not getting paid for it, means that I don't want to drive anywhere.
So you don't even
Right.
want to drive to the grocery store.
Fuck no. Grocery store is 20 miles away. I don't want to drive there.
Oh, I
don't even
forgot.
wanna-
You live in the fucking middle of nowhere. Yeah.
We got a gas station that makes some pretty good pizza that's only 4.5 miles away. It's where I park my trailer. I
And
don't even
that's
want
too
to drive
much.
there.
Yeah.
Even that's too far. It's like, we get milk there. We get, a little bit of groceries there, but not much.
what did you get there? I'm sorry,
Milk.
you cut out. Milk?
Milk, yeah.
No,
But-
you literally just said it.
You say
but-
milk?
You said milk. You said milk,
off.
Jake. You said
Fuck
milk.
off.
You said milk. You said milk. I fucking heard it. It's on the record now.
Fuck
I'm
off.
on the record, brother. I'm always on the fucking record, brother.
They're turning the freaking frogs gay.
No, I'm doing Fed Smoker. Like, don't insult Fed Smoker.
That's
Dude,
not
Alex
Fed
Jones.
Smoker.
What the hell is
That's
this?
Alex Jones.
I know your impression was, but what I said was Fed Smoker. And you just completely fucked that over.
That's because I don't watch Fed Smoker. I find him annoying.
Fed smoker doesn't sound familiar to me.
Oh God! Now Mike's gonna make you watch it. Good job.
It wouldn't be the first time he's made me watch things. So,
Well, okay, Mike, you're still alive, right?
If you
yes.
thought Dragon Man was bad,
I don't think Mike
how
started.
about this?
Yeah,
How about
go
this?
ahead.
We'll So, do you guys know the song "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald"?
Oh, wait a second. Wait. Is this the guy that goes around just provoking people? He ripped his tooth out.
Yes, that is
Yes, I
Fitzmaker.
have seen this. Yes.
Okay. Jake doesn't apparently remember him, because he was probably just tuned out. Like, I don't like this guy.
He's just this guy provoking people. But yeah, the Get You Gumi song. Yes, I do know that song.
Okay, so Jake and I listened to this with our Discord member the other night.
oh, the bar song that I
Yes,
laughed my ass off
yes.
to. Yeah,
dude.
was
So
hilarious.
there-
I'd heard it before. Once I heard it on Discord, I recognized that I'd heard it before.
the comments though were so fucking. there's so many people that are like, this is such a fucking disgrace. This is such dishonorable shit. And my thought and philosophy is, before we listen to it, is that his song had nothing to do with the fucking actual wreck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And B, if those sailors who were on the Edmund Fitzgerald would have been in a bar and listened to this guy sing a song like this, they probably would have laughed their fucking asses off. So, I shall present.
As Devin would say, fair.
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 All right, you guys see it?
I can.
Yep.
Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to just go.
Get used to it. All right, you go do that. It's fairly well known in the place I call home. I like girls with an ass that is roomy. I met an old slut with a very large butt. She said, son, for $10 you can do me. The bathroom wall said that she gave some good head, and for a good time to call her this evening. I was worried, though, that I just didn't know if I'd wind up with some dude named Steven. I gave her a call, and we went to the mall, and we enjoyed a couple of Slurpees. Was 2 days or more, I was pretty damn sore. I found out the old bag gave me herpes. Her hair was dyed, she didn't have a good side. She had moved here from someplace near Boston. When I got her home and she took off her clothes, well, my cookies, I just about tossed them. Her bush, when she turned, looked like an overgrown fern in desperate need of some water. Her elbows and knees had some scabby disease, and her mustache looked like Sergeant Slaughter. I turned off the lights, 'cause if I looked at her right, I felt like my eyes would start failing. Then I ran outside as my lunch began to slide, and I vomited over the railing. I went back inside to finish my ride, saying, Patty, it's been good to know you. She said, not so fast, bro, there's something you should know. Now come here, I've got something to show you. The skin looked all wrong right up next to her thong. It was red and it looked irritated. Felt an itch on my crank and then my heart just sank. Aw, damn, I should have just masturbated. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when you pee and it feels just like acid?
He's such a fucking
Was 2 weeks ago that I slept with that hoe, and my penis now it just stays flaccid. You might like this song and you might sing along, and you may even think that it's funny. But you wouldn't go if every time you go, there's a discharge that's white and real runny. My tail now spans all across this great land, from Maine all the way to the Rockies. Give me a sec. My pee now steams like a cappuccino machine, and it keeps burning holes in my jockey. That filthy old hoe lives in Detroit, they say, and it's doubtful that anyone's caring. Her career high, she banged 29 guys on the hood of her Chrysler LeBaron. The doctors all say that smell won't go away, like some shrimp that's been shipped here from China. I tried Listerine, even used Listerine, but my nuts still smell like filthy vagina.
Wow.
Dude, that's
And Michael's
fucking
sitting there thinking, I
hilarious.
think I dated her for a year.
Who, me?
No, Michael.
Oh, me.
Michael's sitting there
No,
like, I
dude.
think I dated her.
Yeah. Horrifying. No,
Dude,
That's
that
funny,
is
dude.
fucking hilarious. Like,
that's pretty good.
that is an actual like song that a legit sailor would sit at a bar and fucking go for.
That's true. Yeah.
That's
It
a sea
sucks.
shanty right there.
It sucks
Mhm.
that those types of things are lost to time because it's not like everything like that would have been recorded back then.
Well, right, and that's the thing is like if you have you ever heard of Gaelic Storm,
I don't think so.
Jake?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
So okay, it's this modern band that they took a bunch of like traditional like Irish folk songs, like bar songs, whatever, and they kind of adapt them using original instruments. They didn't like really pep it up with like rock shit and whatever. But and the lyrics too, like they just, dude, here's the thing is when people are at a bar and they work shitty jobs, they're gonna be vulgar as fuck.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where a lot of like the American vulgarity comes from, in my opinion, is like I
Most
think
of us
that-
were the shitty laborers from Britain.
well,
or just
or
Europe in
Germany
general.
or Poland or fucking France or wherever they came from, and vulgarity gives you kind of a little bit of a respite,
Mhm.
and it like kind of it's like when you're speaking it, yes, it means something, and so Gaelic Storm, if you guys are willing, well, actually no, that's gonna be a copyright strike. I'll just show that
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, do that during the
we'll
jam
do that.
session.
We'll do
But
that
no,
in the jam session,
it's
not
it's
Discord.
that kind of shit like on YouTube what that guy just did. That's where a lot of good music came from. It's just some guy that's fucking doing his thing, and but the comments on that thing, oh my
Yeah.
god, dude. Oh, you're so disrespectful to the people who died on the Edmund Fitzgerald, and I'm like, I'm thinking in my own head, I'm like, dude, if the guys from the Edmund Fitzgerald would have like saw this guy at a bar, they would have
Mhm.
laughed their asses off and been drunk as fuck with him.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Probably more so than the actual song.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I think anyway.
And it's funny because like Gordon Lightfoot had nothing to do with the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
glad
I
that
mean.
he researched it and like got brought it to more popularity, but like he had nothing to do with it. He didn't
Yeah.
give a shit. It's like that's our thing up here, like mine and Jake's thing. Like that's our region of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
world. And yeah. Go ahead,
Little
Jake.
anecdote. So my mother, who I usually don't speak about in any sort of positive terms, went to school in at UW Superior
Mhm.
Around the time of the Fitzgerald. And she actually knew somebody who was planning on stowing away on the Fitzgerald, but missed the boat.
Oh wow.
That's a lucky one. It's like I almost took this flight on 9/11.
Yeah, it's like the Seth
Yeah.
MacFarlane missing the plane
Yeah.
on 9/11. Yeah.
There's a fucking path for everyone.
Mhm.
That's what I believe. So
Yeah, someone here in the comments says it's a timeless tradition to make up extremely vulgar versions of popular songs. I agree. I do it all the time.
So
You
be
do.
it. Cunt. I'm getting better at it, Mike. Am I getting better at it?
That's pretty good. I like that. You got to really hit that T, which is good.
So be it. Cunt.
I love it.
Getting better? Getting better.
Good. It's good. It's
Dude,
good.
Dude,
What's
the
that
amount of
from?
times that Mike and I have been in a vehicle, like driving from one place to the other, like
Yeah.
just like laughing so fucking hard, we almost have to pull over.
Yeah, over stupid shit like that. I remember.
Just-
Yeah.
Or you
It's
get
like-
pulled over and the cop asks you why you're swerving and has you step out for a field sobriety.
Perfectly
Like, no,
fucking
we were
sober,
laughing.
just laughing at this fucking retard
Yeah.
next to me. Like,
Doing
Yeah.
when you got fucking like 8 hours of driving, yeah.
oh yeah, well we did 13 straight. Dude, the one from Ohio, I was so mad, like the fucking rage fueled me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just gonna drive this whole bitch back. And we drove the whole thing, and then I was like, let's just do a jam session. Let's just
Yep.
fucking go.
Don't
And-
even talk.
Dude, we didn't we talked, but like we were playing like really like off the track fucking music, and it was awesome. And then we got to drive through Wisconsin, and it was like fucking awesome, but like
Yep.
damn,
But there was a good stretch of that where it was just like, yeah, let's just listen. Like we listened to, I remember
Yep.
Love Lies Bleeding. I remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
That was great because I hadn't heard that in a long time. Jefferson Starship. There
Yep.
was some
Yeah.
great shit. Peter Frampton. Yeah, we listened to some good stuff.
Yeah, and we, it's like the thing is like once we got through Chicago and like you actually got to see it on the way
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
It's a pretty impressive fucking skyline.
It is,
Um,
but no, that is the thing. Yeah, like when you're just driving for hours with someone, you just talk about dumb shit and just.
And
try
then
to keep each
but
other
you also you
entertained.
sit there, you're like in the middle of nowhere talking about dumb shit, and then you're just like
Yeah.
laughing so fucking hard that you're like, I might have to pull over, dude. Like I can't
Yeah.
fucking. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Dude, we did that, and we've done that a lot, which is fucking awesome.
Yep.
But,
That's we have.
Yeah.
So
We got some
I
good
don't do
road
it
trips.
much, I don't do it much anymore. But when I was driving over the road, like 2 o'clock in the morning, driving across the Great Plains or driving across Montana or some shit, and I'm doing, I've just got the crew set. There's nobody else on the road, and I'm like, ugh, trying to stay awake, and I would just put on Corn and just crank it.
Corn. Really?
Like,
No, corn
alright.
keeps you awake.
Corn
Okay.
is excellent 2 a.m. driving music.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Because
is.
you want to air drum, you want to air guitar, you want to scream and sing along with it, and it keeps you awake. It keeps you motivated.
Yeah, it's like I mean when you're driving that long, because I don't like driving. I don't.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do it for a living, right?
Mhm.
Driving to me is a chore. Like, okay, I have to fucking go here. It's a fucking long ways, blah blah blah, and but if you're with someone who you actually don't hate,
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking cool to just like go there and you talk about shit and like, dude, the shit that we've talked about, Mike and I, is like, it's so fucking funny.
It is, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I love just talking about it. It could be stupid. It could be, profound, but whatever. As long as it's with.
Well, yeah, profound shit is like that's really cool too.
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of that. But like, when you remember when we were
What?
driving from Ohio, like when we got done with the project,
Yeah.
we were driving north and we had Cooper and Sawyer in there.
Yeah.
And it was silent because I was so fucking mad. I was furious.
Yeah. And it's like,
and you could tell, and you're just like, you were furious too. And
Yeah.
you're like, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, some conversation started,
Yeah. And it was like, okay, let's let this fly.
and I
yeah.
just fucking went to town.
And Cooper and
bitching.
Sawyer are just like laughing their asses off listening
Dude,
to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because they asked me questions. They're
Yeah.
really smart people. They asked me questions, and I fucking went off, and I had to vent. And
Yep.
I don't actually remember the drive from like there until we got to Columbus.
Mhm.
And it was like a 3-hour drive.
It was though, yeah, and we left it early too. So
Right.
it was,
And so, but once I think it was Sawyer asked me something, I'm not gonna do it for. I don't want to shame people,
Right.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember.
it's like, and I was like, no, you're actually correct. This is how it fucking was. And I went on a fucking tirade, and
Yep.
you're sitting there like supporting me. You're like, yeah, this is fucking bullshit. I said, every fucking thing that Mike did on the set of Revlay that I was bitching about is in no comparison to what the fuck just happened.
Yep.
And then they were both laughing, and we're just like, I mean, that van was packed too. Like that thing was
Yep.
fucking
We had
at
full
capacity.
of shit in the
It
whole
was
thing.
fucking
Yeah.
packed. But anyway, it ended up being like a really good ride.
It was.
'Cause
Well, it was a good way to get some
Yeah.
catharsis from the whole thing, dude.
Decompress.
Yeah.
And they were laughing their asses off.
I know. I was kind of sad that we had to take him to the airport too. I was like, man, we gotta just.
We should just fucking
hang
hang out. Yeah, we should just hang
Yeah.
out. But yeah, I mean, you know, it was what it was.
Do that on the next movie.
It will next movie. Oh Jesus Christ!
You can just schedule one day at the end of filming for everybody to just hang out.
Hang out. Well,
Dude, we gotta
at the
just
end
have
of a
some
movie. You don't want to do that.
Mandatory fun.
Yeah, we just gotta have some. I've said this before. Now we just have to all get together to chill and not have a project because that's
no
what
work.
It always has been.
It's not business related. It's just fucking hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are people that we have who we discovered, and we love hanging out with.
Yeah.
And dude, but that ride back from fucking we were in like what was it called? What Ohio? It was in southern Ohio. It was
I don't even remember what it was called.
that
I don't
town.
even.
It was
that was that reenactment shoot, wasn't it? With
Yeah.
the Japanese
that
thing?
never. It's not going to work out as far as I know. But that was way down by Kentucky. It was somethingville, Lucasville.
Okay.
That's where it was.
Sounds familiar now. Yeah.
Lucasville, Ohio, and then we drove from Lucasville to Columbus, and then Cooper and Sawyer. Like, I respect the fuck. Those guys are fucking amazing filmmakers.
I know. I love
those
them.
guys. Are like, if you want something filmed, those guys are the fucking primo shit. And but anyway, we were laughing so fucking hard, and they got me to laugh.
Yeah,
because they were like, because Sawyer is a fucking smart ass piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
If you're watching Sawyer, you know what I'm saying. I love you, buddy. But like, he's antagonizing me, and I was laughing, and I'm like, I think I might have to pull over, and they're like, we're gonna make a flight, and I'm like, well then stop fucking talking. You know?
Yeah, because you were getting so worked up, dude, and like, I mean,
oh man,
you're like this. You're at that point where you're like hunched over the wheel, and you're just doing like this while you're speaking.
Yep.
I'm just like, oh, he's on one right now.
Well, dude, like, you know, we all had, because they got fucked too. Like, that's the thing, is like,
they by the end of it, they were fucking pissed. Like,
dude, I know that. And then I was like, just, hey, we'll keep it quiet. We'll decompress later. And then we decompress, dude. That was like an amazing experience. Like, just the ride back with you and those two.
Yep.
And all of our shit in the back. Like,
yep.
That van was so fucking packed. But
it was.
But no, so Jake, like what I'm saying is, like, this is filmmaking. It's an insane amount of fucking effort, man. I didn't realize it, and I don't think you did either, Mike.
Not for a major feature like what we did.
Nope.
Yeah, and it is funny, you know, it is gonna take like something really special to make me want to do it again, which I will. But you know, it's gonna take something special. And
then it's gonna be like the Blues Brothers, where you come to me, I'm working in a fucking diner, and you got to convince me.
I got to convince like Matt Guitar Murphy. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Michael, your next one should be on Boonagona, because nobody talks about that.
I don't even know what that is.
See?
What is it?
It was the first U.S. ground victory of World War II.
What is that? Is that Pacific Theater?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, because that's why
New Guinea.
Okay, I'll have to look into that one.
Nothing's ever been made about that or even talked about.
Nope.
And it was Australian and U.S. forces. Yeah.
And nobody knows that it was the first U.S. ground victory of World War II.
Well, the Pacific, it's so nebulous sometimes. Like everything, it's hard to research sometimes. What's it called?
Boonagona. Buna-Gona.
Yeah, I'll take 4 fried chickens and a Coke.
and it was all
you want
this.
chicken wings or chicken legs?
It was that and the Australians, Jake. You have to be fair.
4 whole fried chickens and a Coke and some dry white toast.
Yeah.
This motherfucker says he wants 4 whole fried chickens, Jake, and a Coke, and dry white toast.
Elwood. Shit, the
That's
Blues
the
Brothers.
The Blues Brothers? Shit, they still owe you money, fool.
Yeah.
He grabs his fucking sax and his guitar, like the other guy grabs a guitar. Just no. Here's the thing: is again, I've talked to Mike about this before in like private. Like, it's gonna take a hell of a lot to get me back on a fucking set.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be fucking something that's like.
Well, this is the
perfect.
thing, like, because I've thought about it before. Again, I mean, you learn from your mistakes and stuff like that. It's gonna have to be something that's really special to want to get me to do it, and then also like make sure that people are actually getting compensated for what they're doing, and you're not just putting your own resources into
and
it.
Also the fact that you have to trust who you're working with.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because you got to, so I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Reveille was a mistake. I think it was good.
Definitely no.
Like, we got it out, but like we made mistakes, blah blah blah. But like I think now, when that opportunity arises, it'll be like the Blues Brothers reuniting.
Yeah, going back and getting everyone. Yeah, and shit, they owe you money. They still owe you money.
So I'm going to share this link. I'm going to share this link in the private chat.
All right,
Michael, look at the picture in this link and tell me that there isn't at least a passing resemblance to Mike.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh, fuck you, Jake.
You should be very complimented by that. Robert Eichelberger was the general put in charge of the 32nd Infantry at Bunagona. He was put in charge.
No, I know we've had multiple talks about
by
this.
MacArthur himself. So Michael, if you do a production of Bunagona, you could cast Mike B as Eichelberger.
Listen, dude, knowing Mike at this point, I know Mike respects the hell out of really good actors, but I don't think he ever wants to do it.
Hey, here's the thing. I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
since Reveille from the good actors we had in Reveille, and if you so choose, I'd actually be willing to do that one.
See, the thing is,
my hair is getting gray, dude. It's getting gray.
Yeah, you're getting to that point. But the thing is, I know that if you were going to act it, you would be. It's like, hey, look, I'm playing this part, but it's still me. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be someone else.
Right, you know? But I'll also make it historically accurate as possible. That's what I would do. It's like, it's not about me. It's about the character, and then I'll bring what I have. But I mean, so what Jake's saying is like, so go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say, Mike. When we did do the teaser trailer, Mike was an actor in that.
I saw the teaser.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of lines, but he was in it.
He held that bandage in the teaser very well.
Did a good job, dude.
I've had a little bit of experience. I got this zit right on my fucking face right here. I'm noticing this.
Yeah, this thing one of those that hurts.
I'm growing another fucking head.
Oh, that's what
and I keep picking it, so it's like really red.
Right.
I'm like, just go away. But it's like,
the more you pick at it, bigger that's going to get.
I know, and it's doing that. But like, I have that, and
Ravishing Ronald in the chat said MacArthur said to Eichelberger, "Take Boona Bob or don't come back alive."
Right,
and that's actually true.
So Ravishing Ronald, who the fuck are you? How do you know that?
I don't know who that is.
That's interesting.
I called you out, bud.
That's interesting.
But no. If you actually go through the entire Southwest Pacific area, the history of it, MacArthur's command. Anytime MacArthur was in a bind and needed somebody to take the attack home, he always leaned on Eichelberger.
Well, here's the thing. It kind of goes back, like, honestly, like the patterns that I'm seeing, the more I learn about it, it goes back to like when Trey was talking about the Iron Brigade, right? In the American Civil War. There was a group of people that they were like, what you just said, when shit was going wrong, they're like, all right, get the fuck out there and take care of this problem. And the 32nd or the Wisconsin Guard or infantry or whatever the fuck you want to call it, up until this point, like it always seems to be that. And I don't understand why, because like Wisconsin, yeah, we're a cool state. I like our state, but I don't see why we're always the ones that just fucking are like those guys that go, or it's expected to go like, well, we have a problem, fucking fix it, and we do, but we lose a lot of people in the process, you know. So I don't understand that whole thing.
A big part of it has to do with our culture in the Upper Midwest, because our culture and our cultural work ethic of, you know, we're historically very stubborn people up here, where we will bullheadedly push through a problem until the problem either goes away on its own or is solved.
Right. I don't understand where that comes from, because it's like we're mostly Scandinavian, German, Polish, and
Northern
a little
and
bit
Eastern
of
Europe.
yeah.
And
So
a lot of those are all places that have been historically
fucked.
walked over by their neighbors.
Because it's funny, because like in the American Civil War, like we'll just take like our lineage, like the 2nd Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry Regiment, they were just there and doing their thing.
And they held the line at Gettysburg.
Right, but they were called up, and they were like, all right, we're called up. We're wearing our fucking our dress hats into combat, okay? Not the kepis or the forage hats. We're wearing dress hats into combat. We're always like kind of fucking arrogant, but always very effective.
Mm.
Who is this ravishing Ronald there, fuckstick?
Guy from Pittsburgh won the MOH in the 32nd ID at Etape. The museum I worked at had it for a time. So he sounds like he's from Pennsylvania, and he worked in a museum.
Name doesn't ring a bell.
Do you know this guy in person?
No, I don't know who he is. I'm just reading in chat.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, because here's the thing: is like the 32nd is a pretty like proprietary
niche. It's very niche,
but it actually isn't too. At the same time, it's kind of a duplicitous thing where it's like a lot of people know the 32nd Division and their history and like what they've done, and they respect it. But like to be like an actual 32nd historian and like know more than like the average shit is kind of hard to find. Ravishing Ronald.
Well, if a movie was to be made about that, I would have to try to find a story in there somewhere, because I'm not just going to make a movie about
absolutely.
battle.
Absolutely. Yeah. You get the fucking facts.
Yep.
And then you write a story.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's we've talked a lot about that too. It's like, no, we're not just making war porn here. But I mean, it's something interesting to look into. There are a number of things from, different things from the war that I've thought about. I mean, here's the thing though: if we were going to do Pacific campaign, that would be so difficult, because we'd have to find a tropical location, and oh my god, you'd probably have to go to Hawaii or something to do.
No.
What?
Bahamas, dude.
Do you think that's better?
It's the same.
Okay.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
And it's closer.
Yep.
There, or like Australia, I don't know, but that would be
or film on location. Just go to New Guinea.
actually, dude, I'm not shitting you.
Yeah.
The fucking people in Papua New Guinea right now, they literally like the 32nd brigade now went to New Guinea last year on a training exercise for like to I don't know what it's for. They trained the Papua New Guinea people. We might actually be able to, because Jake and I we were both in the 32nd. So if we said that, we get some clout.
That'd be cool. I mean, especially like for some reason, maybe it's just because I've had so much exposure to like 1944 onward stuff. If it's anything that's like pre that, 41, 42, 43 sounds really interesting. So
well, here's the thing too, is like the story itself you can handle.
Yeah.
That's fine. All the
Mhm.
web gear, all the equipment, all the fucking situations, all that shit.
Yeah.
You've got people who know how to do that. But the story itself it's a human story. It's a human
Right.
experience.
Right. And I haven't written in a while. Holden and I are trying to write something right now, but
Well, I
I
also
haven't.
know some IGA reenactors.
No, that's
Who,
true. Yeah.
you know, and so do you. You
Yep.
met them,
Yep.
and they're very fucking good at what they do.
That's true. Yeah, they are.
So yeah,
That'd be cool, man. Get Cooper on board with that one.
I
I'd be
know
willing to be
we
an
could
extra.
Hmm.
because of the conversation that we had at the airport in Dayton or Columbus.
Yep. Yep. Cooper. I mean, yeah, he and I are friends. Obviously, you
Yep.
guys are friends too. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yep.
he'd be willing.
Yeah, we're all good. Like I'm sure. Again, it'd be like reassembling the Blues Brothers,
Yep.
and then you go out there and you fucking kill.
Yep. That'd be fun, man. Oh man, now you're getting me like wanting to do it.
It's good, dude. It'll take at least fucking 3 years for it to get written and fucking in order.
Yeah, that's true. Have you been doing? I remember for a while you were writing some stuff. Have you been
I
doing
was
more
writing some shit. Did you read my stuff? Did I ever send it to you?
The Vietnam thing you were doing,
Yeah.
but then you were also talking about maybe trying to do some poetry for like for therapy or something.
Yeah, I've written shit down. It's just really like dark and
I like dark stuff.
Well,
Now, if you
I wrote a fucking statement to whatever. We'll talk about that later. But like
yeah, it's fine.
yeah.
I'm willing to read anything.
Well, yeah, if you want to stay on for a little bit after we wrap this bitch up, I can literally go out to the garage, grab my book, and read what I wrote.
Yeah.
It was during this whole process too, but like yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think Jake's honest. Or here, I'll share his screen really quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the Boona
Yeah.
Gona campaign.
One of the bloodiest fucking campaigns of the Second World War.
Mm.
Almost 2,000 casualties. U.S. casualties.
Yeah, Australians had like tens of thousands through the whole thing as well.
U.S. and Australian killed in action was 1,900, almost 2,000 killed in
Fuck.
action, and total of like over 12,000 wounded,
Yeah.
injured, or sick. But yeah, and over 2 little coastal villages, basically. Yeah, I've actually looked at modern satellite imagery of Boona Gona, and they're literally just coastal fishing villages.
Hmm.
There's nothing of strategic importance there.
Well, and also, what's important, I think, Jake, is like, so there's a couple things. One, so the 127th Regiment of the 32nd was tasked to walk over the Owen Stanley Mountain Ridge, right?
I think that was the one. Was it the 127th or was it 126th?
I'm almost positive it was one. You can look it up to verify what I just said. The 128th was airlifted and dropped in there, not parachuted, but like airlifted into this region.
Yep, landed on an airfield.
And some regiments of the 32nd Division, the infantry guys, were tasked to go in fucking HBTs over the Owen Stanley Mountains, and a lot of them froze to death.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
They didn't account for that. And they just said, get there as fast as fucking possible.
Yeah,
no,
the Owen Stanley Mountain Range has peaks that are like 8,000 to 10,000 feet tall.
Yep.
There's actually one right here on the map: 13,100, 13,300, 10,200.
Yep. And so these guys were like, they said, we're going to airdrop these guys in there, or airlift these guys in there. You're going to meet them. It's kind of like the Normandy, like dropping paratroopers in, except these guys didn't like paratroop in. It's kind of like that whole thing of like, we're going to meet up and then fucking advance this way.
Right.
And this was super early on, and they completely shit the bed on that one.
Huh. Well,
it was.
That's interesting because And that doesn't surprise me, because usually when it comes to this sort of thing, people don't like to talk about the fucking blunders of war and stuff like
It
that.
was
They
a
want
big
to
blunder.
yeah, they want to talk about the victories and stuff. So that
Yeah,
it makes sense that this isn't
neither the
talked about
U.S.
much.
nor the Australians knew how to fight at this point in the war.
Right.
Right.
This was early 1942.
Well, the
Right.
Australians were like really fucking scared because they're like, dude, this is it. Like, if they
Yeah,
get this,
they could get
they're gonna
invaded.
fucking they're gonna invade Australia.
Yeah.
They were right fucking there. And
Yeah, New Zealand the same.
and so the 32nd, who had just been mobilized the year before, or 2 years before, and been issued somewhat new equipment, which is the M1 helmet and the M1 rifle.
Mm-hmm.
The 127th was not there. It was the 126th that walked over the Owen Stanleys.
Yeah, the 126, the Michigan guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And the
So-
and then the 128th were airlifted in.
Yep, and the 126 guys got fucking wrecked by the environment and lack of any equipment. And the 128th guys got there and they were in combat. So the 128th regiment, the one that Jake and I were in, had the record, I don't know if it's changed now, 654 consecutive combat days
In
the
Papua
Second
New
World War.
Guinea.
No, in the Second World War.
Yeah.
It factored for Leyte, like in the Philippines and shit. So 650, that's over 3 fucking years
Mm.
of consecutive combat days.
Yeah.
It
So
did-
not
it
even
did factor those in.
not getting
The-
pulled off at all or anything.
Well, they were rotated.
The vast
Right.
majority of that was in Papua New Guinea.
Sure, but like, you know what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
it's when even when they were getting guys like from, you know, this company or whatever to Leyte, it was still in combat, like actively morning reports. Yeah, we took this, we had this casualty, blah blah blah. They had so many fucking replacements. I think they took like the 128th had like an 85% casualty rate.
Wow.
Just
Yeah,
that regiment alone.
It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
It was fucking nasty. And that's you know, that's the unit that we had to fill the shoes for. And luckily we didn't fucking die.
Yeah.
And our experience
So-
was different, but like, yeah.
It's something that you do have a connection with, though.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
dude, I'm proud. I wear 2 fucking red arrows, you know, if I'm in uniform, which I'm
Right.
not, but like, so does Jake. He wears 2 red arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking awesome because that unit, those guys fought so fucking hard
Mm.
for so long. And they had the fucking, like, the most consecutive combat days record until, I don't know if it's recently or if it actually changed or not.
Yeah.
I don't think it has changed. I think 654 is still the record.
But that's
Yeah,
almost
the-
3.5 fucking years. Yeah.
Yeah, here's Buna.
Yeah. And they fought over that shit. And here's the thing. The Japanese fought the fuck out of them too, because they were constantly pouring guys in.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't have the supply line, but they still were like, oh shit, let's fucking yeah. It was just an absolute bloodbath for
Jesus.
nothing.
It's just a little village. It's literally just a coastal village.
Yep.
And they had to
It
go
doesn't-
through fucking freezing cold
Jungle.
mountains.
Mountains.
Freezing
Jungle-
cold mountains
jungle
and then
mountains.
jungle. Yeah.
Jesus.
And then yeah.
That's a
And then
that's a hell of an environment.
Dona actually has a clinic and a church.
Nowadays.
Yeah, they're basically just palm plantation farming villages. They're not even fishing villages.
Yep.
Wow.
And the Aussies have been trying to fight them there, and they were getting fucking wrecked.
Mm.
And you know, from the environment and the Japanese, because whatever everybody says, like politics aside, the Japanese military was pretty fucking good at what they did,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were getting wrecked. And then all of a sudden, we get to Melbourne in Australia, and they're like, "Thank God you're here, thank God." And you know, the 32nd was one of the first units, American units there, and they just sent them right up to New Guinea immediately.
Mm.
I mean, it's a fucking crazy story. And
Yeah, I
then
gotta
the
look for
Marines got there, you know, then the Marines got there and they were in, you know, they did Guadalcanal and, you know, all that shit. But like, it was like a desperation thing. But the 32nd had just been issued new shit because they were on mobilization. Oh, they
Yeah.
were in Louisiana. That's where they were at. They were in Louisiana. I think it was Fort Polk, doing maneuvers in 1940. And so they had all their new shit relatively. And then they were like, okay, you guys are equipped, get the fuck over there. And so they sent them on troop ships, and they got there in late 42.
And this was November 42 till
somewhere around there. Yeah. Yep.
how long did it last?
New Guinea?
Yeah, or yeah, I mean, like the whole thing that we're talking about.
Till 44.
So okay. So it kept going forever.
It was a fucking bloodbath. It was awful.
Okay. So basically the whole war. The whole like the time the Americans were in the war.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But then at the end, like I was saying earlier, it was like they sent some of the guys from the 32nd to the Philippines, Leyte Gulf.
Right.
And so they went up there and fought there. But most of those guys were actually not from Wisconsin. They were replacements, right? So, because the initial guys were from Wisconsin, and a shitload of those guys got killed. And that's why they actually started moving armories around. They're like, we don't want the armory in our town anymore because all of our guys who were in this unit that we knew died. And they started moving them around after the Second World War. And it's a whole story. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really insane. Yeah. But nobody's ever covered the 32nd at all.
No. Nope. It's one of those pieces of U.S. military history that almost never gets talked about. And they've contributed so much.
Well, it's interesting because our red arrow is all red. And I understand kind of like why they kept it that way, because there's been so much fucking blood shed from that unit alone. And like, so if I make a video where I say something about, I was in the 32nd or whatever, people are like, oh, the red arrows? Oh my God, that's fucking cool. Every time I meet somebody and I tell them I was in the 32nd, they're like, oh, the red arrows? Oh shit. And I'm like, it's not like an elite unit in the Wisconsin Guard or Michigan Guard, Wisconsin and Michigan, I will say.
I'm very happy that we rolled the 126 back into the 32nd,
dude,
though.
I don't understand why the fuck they did that in the first place, but yeah, I'm glad that they have the Michigan Guard has that too.
Everybody that I talked to who is still in the Guard or was in the Guard at the time, every single one of them welcomed the 126 guys back.
Oh fuck yeah,
arms. Every single
dude,
one of them.
Well, Mildren, one of our E5s, he was from Michigan. He was in like they had that different unit patch or whatever. Yep. And then he deployed with us, and he wore 2 red arrows. And I was asking him like a couple times in Iraq, I was like, why don't you have the 126th or the 125th? And I remember he tried to explain it to me, and like I looked it up later. It didn't make any fucking sense why they did that. It's like, dude, the 32nd, well, they wanted to make it a brigade, I think.
Yeah.
They were sizing down in the 90s.
Downsize it from a division to a brigade.
Dude, it should still be a fucking division. It should be the Michigan and Wisconsin National Guard. Okay. The 32nd Division.
We should have our own artillery and armor support organic to the division.
There you go.
Like we used to have.
Exactly. And yeah, it's just so I think I'm glad the 126 is back.
Because we used to have the 632nd Armor Battalion.
Yes, and we also used to be a fucking mechanized infantry division, like in the Cold War, like in the 60s that started after the Berlin crisis.
I enlisted like a month after they changed the battalion or the brigade from mech to light. Like we still had 113s at the armory when I enlisted.
Yeah. When my dad enlisted in '98, like I was riding around in those, like it was fun,
Yep, we didn't get to play with them at all because those aren't ours anymore. We're just waiting for them to be transported out of here.
Dude, the Bravo company like literally had 2 Bradleys outside in the back.
Really?
They had Bradleys.
Is that what was in those garage bays back there?
No, it was in the.
They have them in the fenced in.
The fenced in. There was 113s and Bradleys out there.
I did not know that Bravo Company had Bradleys.
Right, and then after 9/11, things changed.
Yeah.
So, but it was.
At Charlie Company in Arcadia, we had 113s in December of 2002 when I enlisted.
Right, but they were just getting rid of them. So it's like because we went from a mechanized infantry division to a light infantry brigade. No, it literally did.
We were a mech brigade first. We went from
Sure.
division to brigade, and then
brigade. Okay, whatever.
from mech
You're
to
splitting
light.
hairs here, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, we went from mechanized infantry to light infantry, which is why you and I walked and humped fucking miles with
Yeah.
our shit on instead of rolling in 113s. So
Yeah, the Keystone Division is still very much a division. The
no,
28th.
here's the thing. What I noticed from my time in is the 32nd, the 34th from Wisconsin, I'm sorry, Minnesota and Iowa, the 28th from Pennsylvania, the 30th from North Carolina, and the Georgia guys who were in Afghanistan. They weren't in Iraq with us, but like they deployed. And then there was one other 29th Virginia. So those guys were there. And who replaced us were the Texas National Guard, 36th. And there was only like a certain amount of National Guard units that were constantly fucking deployed.
That's because we were the only ones who were actually mission capable.
Well, there was California and Oregon. They went a couple times, and they did their job. But like, yeah, I mean, so, but yeah, National Guard was like. Here's the thing: is when I was in basic, they always were bitch. They'd always fucking smoke us. Like they would come in the morning and be like, all National Guard, front line arrest position move. So we'd be sitting there doing push-ups, everybody else getting ready. And I'm like, I didn't understand that. Because I'm like, our unit's fucking good. Like, there's good guys. When we got to Kuwait and I saw the other National Guard, like Pogue units, I guess, even the infantry guys, I was like, what in the fuck, man?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
It's embarrassing.
But
it really is embarrassing.
But like again, those aforementioned units, those guys did their fucking jobs and whatever. They were deployed as active duty units, so the draft wouldn't have to come on.
Yeah. Well, there's
it's really fucked up.
Yeah,
it's really fucked up.
If you actually, so I have a great uncle who will not. The less we talk about his personal life, the better. But he was a survivor of Chosen.
Okay.
He was in the 7th ID at Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
He went on and he was an artillery NCO during the majority of the Cold War. Ended up retiring, I think, as a first sergeant or a sergeant major. But he did a couple of stints in Germany and in Italy during the height of the Cold War. And one of the things that he was telling me, this was really early. I think I hadn't even enlisted yet at this point, but I was a teenager. He was telling me the way the army, the way the military is set up during and this was before 9/11. This is way before 9/11. So we were still operating under the Cold War doctrine. He said the way the doctrine is set up is the active duty units and the active reserve units, the federal reserve units, are there to hold the line until the primary fighting force of the military of the United States can get spooled up and deployed. And the primary fighting force is the National Guard.
And that's fucking stupid.
The active duty units are forward deployed all the time to hold the line while the Fulda Gap is falling in front of the Russian onslaught.
No, I get that. I'm just saying that's a really stupid way to fucking do business.
And their job was to hold the line and fall back and sacrifice until the National Guard guys could get spooled up and sent over.
That's not a good way to do business.
And then the active duty units would fall to behind the line and become the reserve force. The fighting.
That's a really fucked up. That's a really risky way to do business.
That was the U.S.
War
doctrine.
I'm not denying what you say, but like I'm saying, in my opinion, that's a very bad way to do business. In my opinion, we should have. I said this the other night on stream with Trey. Like in my opinion, we should have the military, active duty, be the ones on our fucking borders, in posts, in the country, or whatever. The reserves, yes, they're funded by the federal government. They do drills, all that shit. The National Guard should take care of their fucking states. If it gets that fucked up, you done goofed. That's the way I view it, right? Like that's the way I view it.
A big problem is how much we forward deploy our active duty units.
But okay, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think because here's the thing is, dude, a lot of active duty guys that I know they're great fucking people. They'd be great at defending us, right? Reservists.
There's no reason.
Same thing.
There's no reason why they need to be in Germany.
Thank you. And Korea and other places. And I'm like, dude, I joined the National Guard because I knew I was going to get deployed because I was a fucking idiot 17-year-old who wanted to do that and make a difference in the world, blah, blah, blah. If I'm joining the National Guard, I should just be like, I'll get the same training. I agree with that part of it. I should get the same training as the federal military, the active duty, all that shit. That I agree with. And then you come back and you go, all right, well, here's what I learned. And we need to protect our people in our state if anything happens. That's that. I think it should be that simple. And it's gotten so fucking overextended. Mike, what do you think?
I would agree. Like, that's what I always thought that the National Guard was for. I always thought that the National Guard, the whole thing is that they're here in the states to do stateside shit. So that's what I would, think would be the natural way of doing things.
Right, and that's
I think there's actually a federal law that says the active duty military cannot be deployed within the U.S. territory, U.S. sovereign territory.
All right,
deployed,
like for emergency purposes and shit like that.
No. I think there is. Yeah, and here's the thing: is like there was also something, but I think they found a loophole to it in World War One, and they actually did it in the Spanish. And before that, actually, so they got around the National Guard thing, and I know in 2001 that they didn't have enough people joining, even though they had a shitload of people joining after 9/11. Like, oh, I'm not gonna do my thing, blah blah blah. Yeah, me too. Even after the fact, way after the fact, but they still were like, we can't instate a draft because that's going to be bad PR. And so let's just take all these National Guard units and deploy them. And that's been a pattern for all the big fucking wars that we've had, like since I'm pretty sure the Span Am.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like for stuff that I'm, into, like obviously the Omaha Beach stuff, and one of the main divisions that was there, one of the 29th, there's a National Guard division.
Yep.
And a lot of those guys, it's interesting when you do look at them. Yes, there are a lot of guys who are in their late teens, early 20s, but then there's also a lot of guys in that who were there like from the 30s, who were like in like the 1930s, who were like 31, 32 years old at that point when they landed there.
Yeah. And it's the same thing in the first part of like Bunagona, like Jake was telling you about, with the 32nd. Mm-hmm. That's how it was then. Imagine Omaha, but like in a jungle.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. Not good.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, that's how it was with the National Guard units, and it's like what was weird is like I think I've talked about this before, and you know this, Mike. Like in World War One, they federalized. They gave National Guard units federal numbers, like their regiments and shit, and their divisions and all that shit. Because before then, again, it was a 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, the 6th Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry Regiment. That was like your National Guard. They would help if a natural disaster happened. If there was, quote unquote, Indians, fucking around, they would be deployed by the governor of the state, not the president.
Yeah.
Because then they'd have to put them on title whatever orders, which I don't even know the fucking ins and outs of that. But anyway, for the most part, National Guard was National Guard or state regiments, right? Militia. Yeah. It wasn't called the militia, but it was basically what it was, state militia.
I've heard it referred to as state militia, like
Yeah,
casually. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it was state militia, not
Right,
the
yeah.
militia, because the
Mhm.
militia is everybody.
Mhm.
But like, it's the state militia. Okay, became federalized in 1917 when we
Mhm.
got involved. Like, so for example, like the 32nd, right? We got, we had, like I said, the second, third, sixth, and I don't remember exactly the fucking numbers. Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry Regiments became, they kind of like barreled it in with the Michigan first, second, third, whatever regiments, and they said you're now the 125th, the 126th, the 127th, and the 128th Infantry Regiments. You're now the 120th Field Artillery. You're now the Jake. Did they have anything other than the 120th Artillery?
Maybe
Well, it doesn't matter.
121st.
Yeah, I think the
Maybe
121st is
121st.
from Michigan. I think. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So they did that kind of shit, and they were like, now you guys are this.
Mhm.
Those are your numbers. You're federalized now. And yes, they were on federal orders. They were getting paid federally and all that shit like they do nowadays when they deploy the
Yeah.
National Guard. But that's
Yeah, it was the 121st.
yeah, the 120th, the 121st Artillery for the 32nd Division, and then they had a bunch of other units and shit like the whatever. But it doesn't matter. But like I'm just saying for like an example, like I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, yeah, the National Guard, I think the National Guard, like I said earlier, should be trained to the standard of federal troops, right?
Mhm.
I believe I'm fine with that, right? Because it used to be a good old boy system where you join the National Guard and they train you the way that they whatever. I think you should be trained to the same standard, but your expectations shouldn't be that I'm going to fight a foreign fucking war.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because like when I worked for the military doing that whole thing, they had National Guard units doing that, but they were training them as if they were, in Iraq or Afghanistan or something
Right.
like that. They were they had, like the OP4 were clearly made to represent that. And the types of places they were training in that they had set up for them was clearly like foreign type things. It was not like, you know, um, clearing business buildings or houses in rural America or anything like
Right.
that. So yeah, clearly, even though it was National Guard, they were training them to do stuff overseas.
Yeah.
It's just kind of strange, but yeah, I don't know. National Guard, it's something that I haven't really thought too much about in terms of being different from the regular army. So
Well, a lot of people think about it like they're like, "Oh, you're just National Guard." That's when I say I'm a nasty girl. That's what the active guys called us, right?
okay,
Nasty girl,
Mhm.
and or no good or nasty girl or
the
whatever.
old school term I've always heard is weekend warrior. That's the one I've heard.
Right, and it's not untrue. Like
Mhm.
you do one drill a month for 2 or 3 days, and fucking that's your training. You're
Right.
still using federal property, like you have to wear a uniform and all that shit. But the fact that like GWAT really deployed a lot of fucking National Guard units, I'm like, interesting.
Mhm.
Also, they did that in World War II
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
World War One
Yep.
and the Civil War.
So the thing we were talking about earlier, in New Guinea, those guys were they National Guard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so those guys would have had soldiers with them who were probably had been in the army well before the war.
Oh yeah.
like in the
Oh, yeah.
30s.
Yep,
and such.
their NCO and more senior officer cadre were. Some of them were actually World War One vets.
That's what I was just
Yeah,
gonna say.
that's what I was
Yeah,
going to think.
World War One vets from the 32nd Division, and
Yeah. Something that's kind of interesting about some of that stuff that I've looked into before, especially like early in World War II, like early Pacific stuff, is that sometimes you do have COs or like some of the brass, like majors and colonels and stuff like that, who were just a little too young to go to like France in World War One.
yeah,
but they were trying to sign. They had signed up for it, but they didn't go for the 1919 thing.
Right.
But they were career military. So once they were like 40 something years old and World War II came around, that was their first war. And they were like really gung ho to like to make it happen, you know? So
that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And
just an interesting thing.
Yeah. And like, okay. So I was just going to fucking say this. So Ravishing Ronald again, who the fuck are you?
And why you support Mike B on Discord or not on Discord, on Patreon?
There you go.
Well, that's another issue, but like, no. So his point is like, so in the Depression, a lot of people joined the National Guard just because they would get paid from the state, who was broke, but like they would still get a paycheck, and like they'd show up, and that's what I'm saying is like a lot of the World War I vets, a lot of the World War I vets got out, kind of like every war, and they would just kind of be like, okay, you show up, you do some shooting, we camp out, you know, we do our thing, but there's food. It was a lot different then, right? And so, but yeah, a lot of those guys would have joined in the 20s and 30s and the early 40s just to get some money.
Yeah.
And carry a gun on the weekends, or be a supply guy, be a cook, be a fucking clerk. It doesn't matter. Like, they would just join, and then they get put on maneuvers in 1940 after, you know, Poland gets invaded. They're like, well, we might have to get involved in this. They get put on maneuvers. Oh, it's even more money. I'm like on annual training, so I get like $200 instead of like $50 for this week. Oh, nice. So they get put on there. They get new gear, and then in 42, after Pearl Harbor, they're like, well, you guys are already equipped.
Yeah, I guess we're going to war.
You guys are going to fucking Australia.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was in the National Guard. I was doing this 1 week in a month.
Right. A lot of these guys had other jobs, fucking families.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's the thing with National Guard is it's weird. Like, you do have a career usually, and you've got a life outside of it. And usually you lose money nowadays on drill weekends and shit like that, and then like annual training. So back then it was like, oh man,
that's why it's so great to be in the National Guard when you're a poor college student.
Exactly, because your college is paid for. You get state and federal benefits, which is fun, and whatever. But like, you usually like, again, my dad's famous last words when he joined in '98 was, "Well, it's okay. The National Guard rarely ever gets deployed."
Yeah.
Well, come 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I went through basic, one of the things that our drill sergeants were sure to tell us was, you National Guard guys, don't get comfortable. Don't slack, because right now the average time frame for a soldier, a National Guard soldier leaving basic training before they're on their way to Iraq is 6 months.
And that's exactly what I did.
Mine was 3 before I got orders.
Right.
I got home from basic Memorial Day weekend, and August I was getting orders to deploy to go to Camp Shelby.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, GWAT was pretty fucking insane. It was
very high op tempo.
Yep. And yeah, because mine was, I graduated the end of November, the day before Thanksgiving in 2008, and I went to our dining out. I went to SRC. I went to our dining out, which Jake remembers. I was fucking gone, and then because I didn't drink at all before I went to basic at all, and then
really
no, I didn't ever.
Oh, yeah,
and,
you were like 18, weren't you? Yeah,
I was 18 when I got to the unit, and so we went to the dining out, and then SRC, and then we went to Florida. So that was end of November. So we'll just say December 1st. 2 months before I deployed.
Yeah.
Out of AIT as National Guard. So
I just realized who Ravishing Ronald is. He's one of the guys who is on that Discord that I do for that Frosty One channel that does like breakdowns of historical video games and such. So
Oh,
yeah,
so he's one of those guys.
he's one of those dudes. Yeah, so good to have you listening in on
Fucking
this
history
shit.
nerd.
Yep.
So you know him personally?
So a little bit, yeah. He's not one of the ones I interact with too much, but I am aware of him.
So for anybody who's watching, Mike B does have a Discord server, but he has it paywalled. You need to support him at the $5 a month tier to access it.
The
So
paywall is there for a reason.
yes.
Mhm.
But
So if you want to interact with Mike one-on-one, he's always on there, like all day, every day, making fun of us retards who are also on there.
Mike, stop fucking
Patreon.com.
pursing your fucking lips.
I'm just agreeing.
Was it patreon.com/Mike B?
Might be 128. It might be.
I
But
think it is Mike B 128.
Yeah, it's a random number that got generated. Has nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Well, dude, Jonesy always signs his shit like Jonesy 361. Like,
yeah. His
so-
is more believable that it's a random number though.
Virginia.
Okay.
Virginia reactions, historical video games. You say, yeah, like go look up on YouTube. But the YouTube channel is called the Frosty one, and it's a lot of breakdowns of like World War II games like Battlefield and World War I as well. Battlefield, Call of Duty, and all that. Go through everything and talk about what's inaccurate about them.
But yes, it is Mike B 128. I just looked it up. There's your shameless plug, Mike.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it.
You're
and
welcome.
Jake and I, we've never met. Like we met because he's a shameless paywall contributor, and we hadn't met before that. Even though we both wear 2 red arrows. What? I don't have that. I've just got the fucking. I should get a red arrow.
I do want to get a set of cross rifles.
I don't know why the fuck you don't have them, but like anyway.
Because I was always poor and I have better things to spend my money on.
You got a fucking red arrow though. Like, come on, let's be honest.
I got that when I was 18.
So did I, you fucking dipshit.
I paid $50 for this.
I paid 120 for the rifles, but I mean that's fair, I guess.
Yeah. I got that right after basic. I went up to visit my sister up in Superior when she was still living up there, and went to her tattoo parlor. I don't even know if that tattoo artist is still there. I doubt it.
Oh yeah, probably not. Like, yeah,
they were just a hole in the wall back then. I doubt they're. So I do have to ask, Michael, what are you working on in the background there? You got a painting going on that I can only see the top half of.
Yeah, I do. Well, the real reason why is because that's all I've done so far. Everything below, this is all penned
Pencil
out.
sketch.
This is all sketched out right down here. But this is for our friend, our good friend James Gregory. He has commissioned me to do a painting of one of these many World War I things that he has covered. And this right here is part of the Battle of Blankmont, and it's called The Box. So it's a World War I thing. Oh, you're getting this book, aren't you? There you go.
Definitely not a shameless plug. That fucking book is amazing.
I got to shut off my blur.
Mike, have you read it?
About half.
Oh, you have. Okay, so you've read half of it.
I have. Well, especially when I was doing the painting for it.
But doesn't that piss you off? The book?
Yes, it does.
When you go, oh my god.
No, well, what pisses me off even more is that how unknown it all is. It's not like this book is blown up really or anything. So
this is the book by James Gregory that we're referring to.
I have the book over there, but
this is available. I got mine off of Amazon. I asked James directly. He said you can also get it off of, what did he say? The University of Texas. Library website, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But this one right now, it's
Texas A&M University Press.
Yeah, I don't know if I bring the camera up through here, if we'll be able to see anything. Probably not. But I just got the horizon line going right now.
Okay.
So, and I just finished a hill. So, yeah, you can see a whole bunch of guys down here. But it's a World War I thing, and James wrote an article about it, and which is
And
really
he's getting
interesting.
sued, and he's getting sued by a Pennsylvania congressman over it.
That's a completely just separate thing. That's this has nothing to do with York or anything like that. This is a separate thing. This is actually the Marines in World War One. But yeah, you'll see updates of it as I keep slowly chipping away at it. He commissioned me to do it really early this year, and just now I'm finally starting to make some progress on it. So fun stuff. That's the life of an artist right there.
Very nice clouds.
Thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad. The thing is, what I actually this is going to kind of sound funny, but what I love to do with stuff like this, when I'm depicting things like battles and such, take place out in these vast open areas and such, and all this fucking chaos. Like, there's a whole bunch of horrific things going on in here. However, the environment itself is beautiful. The nature, the clouds, and stuff like that. I think that's a really interesting contrast to see the beauty of nature combined with these fucking scenes of absolute horror. So yeah, I'm a weirdo like that.
You're a fucking weirdo, buddy, brother.
Oh God, what a way to come back, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm walking back.
Yeah.
Fucking fart noises. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it
So
sounds
much
like you got some dripping down your leg. You might want to attend to that.
Yeah, it's gonna itch when it dries, but we're all good.
It'll keep the mosquitoes away.
Yep.
It'll attract flies, but it'll keep the mosquitoes away.
Someone asked, "Do you ever do any paintings of Eugene Sledge, Michael?" I did a couple from his book With the Old Breed when I was younger. Don't know if any of those are online, but yeah, I used to do some Marine stuff from World War II after reading his book.
Yeah, Michael's okay at drawing.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Like, you're pretty fucking good.
Thank you.
When you get less busy, I'm gonna commission you as well. So.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah,
I already fucking told you that. I have a few images in mind.
Okay, yeah,
but
we can do that. But
it's gonna be a very laid back, like whenever the fuck you get them done thing. So
sounds good.
But I mean, Mike's God, how long have we known each other now, sir? It's like 3.5 years.
Yeah, 21, I think.
Yeah, we started just talking, and we've hung out many times, and we did this thing called the Reveille, which interesting. And Jake actually helped out with that. Here's the thing: is like
I knew him.
I should have fucking I should have at that point. I was so pissed off at the whole fucking post process that if you're ever making a film, post sucks worse than the actual filming.
It really does, yeah.
Oh my God. And so I was just like, Jake helped me out for a few days, and I should have gotten him a fucking credit. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh, thanks, man. But no, Jake did help with the sound of the explosions and everything with Nate. He and me fire. You, me, and Nate worked together, and I think it was fucking good. So
that was one thing too, to where I knew we were going to do that. Where like, okay, obviously the sound effects of this is going to be a post thing, but I remember leading up to that, you were like, "This is very important that we get this right."
It
like
is
that sound, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I completely trust you when it comes to that, so that's why I let you guys complete. Yeah. I didn't really have much say when it came to that part.
No, you didn't have to. That's the thing, is because you. Here's the thing: is most of your team that you assembled fucking miraculously. Mm-hmm. You're fucking pulling everybody in. No, most of your team is really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And myself included, and everybody else that you attracted. It's like everybody's really good at what they do. And that's why we got that film made. And
honestly, I was just honored to be asked what? To help. I was just honored to be asked to help. I didn't need it. I didn't need a credit.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is we were talking, and I was like, well, I whatever, the credit thing, who gives a fuck? But like, as far as like, just when I was like, hey, I'm working on this, blah, blah, blah. And you're an Iraq vet as well. And I was like, well, wait, you know what this sounds like. Because you're right pretty much just across the couple pads away from me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what this sounds like? And then, so we worked on it with Nate, and that was actually a really, like, it was one of the most relaxing times in post, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just me, Jake, and Nate, and we're like, all right, take this pitch down and like kind of do this, that, and then oh, there we go, we got that one. All right, next,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, there were moments in there when we were working on that where it was sending chills down my spine because it
Yep.
was like, yeah, this reminds me of that one night.
Yep, and then we were both like, let's fucking keep it at this. We're good.
That part
And,
sounds really good. When I finally listened to that, I was like, that's really good.
Well, I've shown a lot of people this and like just watching it live, and they're like, oh, the artillery sounds like fucking scary, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, it is.
because
That's what we wanted.
Because artillery does sound scary.
Oh
Yeah.
god damn, and it's like
I'm
it's
I'm
so
just
fucking
surprised we were
creepy.
able to get Nate away from his bleachers long enough to actually work on that.
Oh, Jesus
Right.
Christ, dude.
But
Nate right now is fucking face palming
he's like,
himself.
get me the fucking fucking go out there and fucking tell Jake he's a piece of shit. He's a
Doesn't
faggot.
the guy have enough to deal with?
Yeah, no, but no, Nate's an awesome person to work with, man.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, he's so good.
Yeah, I'm glad he was able to make that work because it's like we couldn't have had stock explosion sound effects, and that's what just is used all the time.
Right, and that we got really fucking creative, and
yeah. Well, and also like that's the funny thing because I've never been shot at. I've never had artillery go off next to me. Every
we can
single
change that.
oh, you fucking
now I'm definitely not coming to visit. No, but
No, you don't even need to do anything. You just need to come to my house when my neighbor's shooting at birds.
oh, that's true. Yeah, the fucking weirdo. Jesus Christ.
Fucking boomer.
I'm in fear for your life. But
I was too that day.
yeah, Jesus Christ. But every single person I've talked to who has had that, they say that the artillery is way more horrifying than gunfire, like being shot at. It's like
it's not in your control. Like,
yeah, it's indiscriminate.
dude,
and you can't shoot back because it's shooting at you from like 5 miles away.
Right, and you're like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I just need to fucking hide.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's that's why I like the fact that like I think we got the sound as best as we could in that film, and
that's why an infantryman's favorite tool is his e-tool.
Yeah, get the fuck out of the.
We love our Mother Earth.
In this painting that I'm doing, one of the things that happened during this thing that there were Germans on one side, there were Germans on the other, and they were just shooting down at these Marines as they were passing through. And a number of these guys pulled out their e-tools and just started trying to dig into the ground for cover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's a couple of the pieces of the show that of guys with their entrenching tools just like desperately digging into the chalk.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Like
yeah, and if you dig into Bunagona, they weren't digging into chalk, they were digging into swamps.
Yeah,
I can imagine into saltwater marsh.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times like I'm fucking glad I wasn't involved in any of that shit.
Yeah,
because that's really bad.
If you do any even a surface level research into what we did in New Guinea, what the army did in New Guinea, you'll be like, holy fuck, how did they survive?
Yep. It's really like hard to. I mean, and that's just again. So let's just realize this. Like that's one tiny speck in an entire world war that was going on.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say like I hadn't heard that name before. I'm sure I've heard about this at some point. And I know New Guinea, but not this specific thing that you were talking about. Yeah. And
this was just the first battle at New Guinea.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many fucking battles, dude. Like it's hard to keep track of, just different campaigns and battles and stuff during that war.
And while Bunagona was going on, Guadalcanal kicked off. Tulagi kicked off.
There you go. Yep. And the Marines were like in the news because most of the media was Navy.
Yep.
at that point. Like most of the correspondents were Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're going to be with the fucking
Well,
Marines.
That's also because MacArthur didn't let any news get out that he personally didn't approve.
Yeah, and things on New Guinea were fucked up.
Yeah, and
Well, when we talk about the Pacific too, a lot of people really do want like to focus on the Marine campaign stuff. I mean, but there was the Army was a huge presence there as well. So it's
the Army
many
was
fucking
actually
divisions.
The Army was actually a bigger presence there than the Marines.
Yeah, but the Marines just
they had the high profile battles.
Right.
Well, and they also like the Navy. From what who did I learn this from? But I actually looked into it, and it's true. Is like the Navy war correspondents were more hardcore about getting shit back to the U.S. quicker, and so you see all the Marines.
Like
you
I
see all
said,
the
it was
Marines.
Sorry,
but
Mike.
like, yeah. Go ahead.
But like I was saying, it also had a lot to do with the fact that there was two different command structures in the Pacific. You had Nimitz on one side, and you had MacArthur on the other. Nimitz was a lot more open on letting his combat correspondents do their job and get the news back to the States.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Thank you. Yeah, because like MacArthur was so fucking worried about, am I going to look bad? 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 Yeah. Oh well. But no. So the Army, like, so what would happen is like the Marines they are shock troops, basically, right? The Marines, if you want something fucked up and you want to get a fucking foothold on a position, you send in the fucking Marines. It's still true to this day. It always has been. They will fuck things up. They will, in more ways than one, they will fucking destroy the enemy. They will get through. They will conquer that shit. The Army will go in with them and around them and go, all right, well, we've got this secured. All right, I guess we're all good. And the thing that they don't ever tell you in the media is that the Army and the Marines actually do get along. Like they do, like the grunts and everything. Like they'll be like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? Hey, you good?"
Unless you have a Marine general named Holland Smith. Holland Smith was the Marine Corps general in charge at Saipan and Tinian and Guam and Iwo Jima, and he absolutely fucking hated the Army with a passion.
Well, why is that?
Because he thought the Army were a bunch of unprofessional, lackadaisical pieces of shit.
But why is that? Like, what the fuck?
Because that's who he was.
For that?
Because that's who he was. He literally treated the Army soldiers under his command like an annoyance at best, and a waste of resources at worst. He gave anytime he had an Army division under his command in combat. This happened on Saipan. Look up what happened with the 27th Infantry Division on Saipan. He literally put them in the worst positions on purpose, and then complained when they weren't performing up to his standards. And he never set foot on Saipan.
Yeah, it's a whole nother issue of like upper echelon command.
Some weird personal shit.
But I've never heard like, because Jake, like when you and I were in Iraq, you both times and me the one time, I never like had any animosity towards Marines, Air Force, whatever. Like I never had animosity towards them.
The only ones that I had animosity towards were Navy fucking Customs.
But that's not in, you know what I mean? Like when you're actually doing your job and like you're there.
No,
nobody
there was no inter-service rivalry on the ground.
It's not, because it was like you're in country, you're in a bad spot, and it was just like
you
we
have
all
your
just
mission,
like
I have my mission, and we're
going to work together. We're going to work together, and we're going to get it done. That's it. It's that simple, right? As lower enlisted, that's that, right?
Yep.
I don't understand. Like, well, I do understand, because like, so in World War II, this shit was so new of like having the Marines working. Well, it wasn't new. We have to go back to World War One. Okay. The Marines
what was new was the combined arms. The close proximity of various different assets. between
No,
infantry and armor and artillery and air aviation and
No,
naval
it wasn't.
support.
dude, World War One was that was what you got to go back to, but like nobody fucking cares to learn about World War One. So in the First World War, the Marines were attached. I'm sorry, Mike. Like,
No,
are
go,
you bored or like?
No, I'm amused. Keep going.
Okay, so
And interested.
Yeah. So in the First World War, the Marines were actually used as a ground force for the first time, basically since their inception, an actual ground force.
Mm-hmm. And they
They
did
were attached.
fantastic.
They did all right, but they were attached to the U.S. Second Division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Indian Head Division. Yes, the patch.
Korea.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're stationed
Yeah,
in Korea now.
they ended up being okay. Whatever. Fuck you. Stop trying to distract me. So the Marines were attached to the Second Division. They fought. They did their thing. They were good marksmen.
Mm-hmm.
They could fucking hit targets a long ways out. They took a lot of casualties. They fought their way through. They fucking persevered. And then, because I think, who was it that said, I think it was James, the Marine Corps was like about to be like absolved.
Dissolved.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
because they were like, well, we don't have a use for you. And so after that, they're like, well, no, the Marine Corps has its place as like shock troops,
Yeah.
basically. For lack of a better term, I'm not getting this right. I know I'm not getting it right. But like, so like the thing is, like the Marines evolved into through the Second World War, through Korea, through Vietnam, and to modern days, is like those are the guys that you send in who don't give a fuck if they get killed.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to take this position, and the army comes in and goes, all right, excellent. And then they take they'll take the position around it. They'll still fight. I mean, they're still in combat, but like the Marines are the fucking retards.
Yeah.
The best way to describe the Marines.
That's a good way to describe it.
The best way to describe the Marines is if you want something dead right now, you send the Marines.
Oh yeah, they're gonna fucking do it. If you say that is dead, that is no good, the
Mm-hmm.
Marines will fucking it's
Let them off
gone.
the leash.
It's
Like,
gone.
There are few forces in the world more deadly than the United States Marine Corps when they're let off the leash. And
Well, that's why
they
they're called the devil dogs, right?
And they
No.
have never, and they in modern times they have never been let off the leash fully.
Mhm.
The closest they got was the initial invasion of Iraq in 2003.
Yep, the closest. But like those guys, like they're some of the most testosterone fucking fueled, extremely in shape, well armed,
and ill-tempered.
I'm trying to figure out how to a way to like put this, like not necessarily that intelligent, but they're willing. They got
They're smart enough.
they can do the job.
Mhm.
They're smart
Those guys
enough to do the job.
Those guys go in there and they fuck shit up.
Right.
Okay. And
When you
they fuck
absolutely
shit up.
positively need the enemy dead yesterday.
They'll do that. And then they look at you. Well, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
They look at you with an army uniform and they go, hey man, you see this shit? We're like, yeah. Okay.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And we shake hands, we fucking hug it out, like, good job, man. Yeah, it's fucking awesome, man. It's fucking awesome. And then we go do our job and we're all in it together. That's the thing, is like, but they're basically like, yeah, like I've equated this through the years, like thinking about this. They're basically our shock troops.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the Marine Corps is coming for you, it's not going to end well, dude.
The best combination that we can put for a ground force is the Marine Corps leading the way, supported by Army logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Because the U.S.
That being
Army,
said,
Because the U.S. Army does logistics better than any other organization on the planet.
Correct. That being said, if you get hit with special ops, you're actually not a priority. They just wanted somebody dead. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking around. Like, you're not a priority yet. They just wanted somebody
wanted to
dead.
slap you. We just wanted to slap you and remind you that we're watching.
Yeah, we're watching. That's the thing with like special ops. Those guys also really cool guys. Fucking
Waz.
dude,
We need to get Waz on one of these.
I've asked him. He's away
Yes.
right now on a cruise, but like
yeah. 1 second.
But no, I've asked him. He'll come on. We'll get Waz on for sure.
Yeah, we need to get Waz on one of these
because it's like, okay, we're gonna slap you, but you're not really worth our time yet.
We're gonna slap you just to remind you that we're watching you. That's it.
If they send the Marines in, it's probably not going to be a good thing for you.
Yep. Just remember, the Marine Corps, the president can send without authorization from Congress. The Army,
really?
Yeah. The president can send the Marines without authorization from Congress. But to get the Army involved, it requires congressional approval. So if you get slapped by the U.S. Army, you done fucked up enough to get the Republicans and the Democrats to agree on something.
That's when you know you really fucked up.
Well, the thing is like, what we're talking about is like, there are certain levels that I guess people who haven't been in the military don't understand. I'm not being a condescending prick. I'm just like saying, like, we always think of like special ops guys because we met them. We like, shaking hands with them and like, hey, how you doing, buddy? Fuck, I had a shitty fucking day. And they're just like cool shit, but they're really good at what they do, but they're very precise and very specialized. If you send in special ops, that's a thing to say. Yeah, maybe cool it down. If you send in the fucking Marine Corps, well, the Army's going to follow, and they know that. Like, you're just sending in your fucking, like, we're going to fuck everything up, and the Army comes through and goes, oh, shit, okay, right on. And then you work together because you're all bros. Like, it's all fucking good. And then, you're done. So, maybe don't do that.
It is interesting, though, like, going back to how, different, like, the Marines have done things over the years. Like, going back, like, doing this painting, I've been learning stuff about the Marines in World War I. And it's, like, really interesting because it's stuff that, like, a lot of them are wearing, Army uniforms and stuff. So it's really
that was
interesting.
a supply thing. That was a So the Marines actually went there. Oh, they went there wearing greens, forest greens. I actually have a repro in my closet. They went there, but again, a uniform in combat lasts like a couple weeks tops.
Right.
Before it's like torn up, fucking rotting out, whatever. And oddly enough, the dye that was being made to use forest green uniforms was coming from Germany.
Yeah, I have heard about that. Yeah,
and so in 1917 they started like using like just olive green or olive drab dyes, whatever you call it. So there's so many fucking variations, and then they were just like, you know what? We can't get the supplies, we can't get the uniforms made fast enough, so just fucking issue them Army uniforms. So for the first like couple months, it was recorded that like they would cut off their like Marine Corps uniform, or their
You're
buttons
breaking up, Mike.
off their uniform.
You just broke up.
I can hear him just fine.
For the first couple months, and then you went R2D2.
That's on your end. I could hear him just fine.
Are we good now?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. So for the first couple months, they would cut off their buttons, the Marine Corps buttons, and they put them on the Army uniforms that were issued because that's what was available, right?
Yeah.
You got all these Army uniforms, and there's very few Marines, and they're like, whatever, it's Army uniforms, so we're going to be Marines. And then after the first couple times that they did that, they were like, fuck this. I'm going to pocket these or throw them in my A bag or whatever. And I'll just wear Army uniform. Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And so by the end of 1918, you couldn't tell a fucking Marine from an Army guy. And
Right. The only thing about it is a couple of the officers that I have in this are wearing the green uniforms. Other
what
than
month
that,
was that?
this is October.
No,
You don't think so?
I'm pretty. I mean, I could get Steven, one of the best historians I know.
That's the guy who I talked to about it. Stephen
He said
Gerard.
greens would be in October.
For at least the office, at least a couple of the officers in here. Everyone else is brown Army. It's not too late to change it because the uniform basically looks the exact same, except for the
Pretty much, yeah.
But
like
pockets, yeah.
I might have to talk with Steve, because I don't agree with that.
Okay,
but he also knows more than I do about certain things, but
let me know if you do and what you guys talk about because I want to make it right.
I just don't think that. Well, here's the thing: is in my opinion, this is not. You shouldn't act on this at all.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is that he could have a forest green top,
okay,
like a 14 or a 17, and then like fucking breeches, like Army breeches or some shit.
That'd be interesting.
But I don't know about the full greens, like
because the trousers go first out of when it comes.
Oh fuck yeah, fuck yeah!
So that would be a cool touch.
That's an idea. Like ask Steve when you get a chance.
Okay.
What he thinks about that, because it's not that I don't trust him, of course, because like Steve he's a lovable fucking clown, and no, I've talked to him several times. Like Steve is a good guy. I just don't know if I agree with that from what I've researched.
Well, I'll make sure to bring it up because it's like I honestly I'm not someone to trust with that. That's why I'm like I want to know.
The thing is, like, I also can't fucking draw that well, so it's like we all know people who are good at different things.
Yeah, so we all want it to be right, no matter who is able to make it happen.
Yeah,
but
I would think a green in October. It's not like it's like,
of course,
actually, yeah. So yeah.
There are a lot of things though that I have learned with the World War I uniforms that are just like totally like fucked. Like we've talked about the German camo stuff and all that with the helmets, and then also apparently when with Armistice, the Marines all have like the anchor and globe put on their helmets, I think, or something, and that's.
Yeah, it's post-armistice, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But like, reenactors still fuck that up, and they'll be in like.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like no, that's as far as I know. Like realistically, that was post-armistice. And none of the reenactors use the fucking correct EGAs.
Yeah, of course. So, but in doing research, like as I'm pulling up all these references and stuff, I do see that like guys with those things on their helmets.
Yeah, and it's like, it looks cool. Well, it's the same thing as like, so Army guys with shoulder sleeve insignia, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like they'll wear that shit and they'll be like, oh, fucking, I was in this, or I'm portraying this division. It's like, yeah, well, that really wasn't worn at all until after the armistice, right?
Right.
Like the 32nd, I've never fucking found someone who's found like an original picture or photo of the 32nd at all before the armistice wearing an actual patch. And the one that I have, like I showed you, is quilt stitched on by hand.
Yeah.
And it was cut. It was cut by hand. You can tell.
Right.
Most division patches, and that's where it started, yes, but like in the actual war. What?
To be fair, the 32nd Division didn't even have their insignia until after the Hindenburg line.
Well, exactly, but so some of them would wear them like diagonally, some of them would wear them like this, and so they standardized it, like I guess when they got back, like it's up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the book, like the actual book that was written about the 32nd World War I, is like it's diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the way that Hindenburg line, like where they punched through, was. Yeah, exactly. And so it's funny, like there's so much nuance to everything, and people just, I think people just want to talk in like overgeneralization kind of ways.
Well, This is kind of a tangent. This is something I wish
let
30-second would. Yeah,
Mike
okay.
say what he wants to say first.
Yeah, because I gotta hit the road too. But just one thing is that because I'm looking at a lot of photos, and like I said, these things with like the shoulder patches and stuff like that. Yeah, I see that in a lot of the reenactor photos that I look up. But in terms of wartime photos, I don't ever see any of that stuff. You know,
Yeah, it's not
It
because
wasn't a
again the turnover of uniforms. Okay,
Mhm.
people didn't. Well, we actually got the idea from the Brits.
Yeah.
Because when they did the Battle of the Somme, they put a bunch of insignia on to signify what units or what, and they would like, everybody would know what units were. Who the fuck is calling me? I swear to Christ.
It's not me.
No, we're good. So the Brits did that, and then the Americans, when they got there, like very early on in 17, were like, well, how do you identify your units when they're in like action, like when they're doing this? How do you identify where they're at? Blah blah blah. And the Brits said, well, we did this, and the French did a similar thing, but they wore armbands, but it didn't really take off. And so then the Americans, after the armistice, were like, well, actually, it was before this. To be fair, the 28th, the Bloody Bucket, actually was one of the only units that was known to have sewn like their homemade red felt bloody buckets on their left shoulder in late October of 1918.
Okay.
There's probably a couple other units, but that was the most infamous.
But that wasn't like a thing that was mandated.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't approved either. It wasn't authorized.
Mm-hmm.
They just fucking did it, and then because they have I hate fucking saying things without like being able to pull up the actual primary sources, but yes,
I know.
So the 28th was one of those units that actually did do that about a week and a half before the armistice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not practical. While you're in the war, you're going to be changing uniforms out pretty much every week. If you're on the line, you're going to be getting a new uniform every fucking week.
Yeah.
And so
basically anytime you leave the trenches to go to the rear area, which might only be a few hundred yards back.
Right, but also it's like every time there was a possibility that they might have launched gas at you, you get a new uniform. Even if they did or not. It's like, well, we're just going to be more safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And so they would give you a new uniform, and that's why a lot of the people would change their collar discs out, right? Because that's pretty that's like a minute and a half. Bam, put them in your pocket, and then go grab a new service coat that doesn't fit, but it fits well enough, and you're like, okay, fine. Like at that point, those guys didn't give a fuck.
Of course, yeah.
And but yeah, so after the armistice, people were like relaxed, and they're like, we're on occupation duty. The 32nd marched a shitload of distance to get to the Rhine Valley. I forgot which town they actually were in. But whatever. So they went there, and then when they start doing like occupation duty, not just the 32nd, but like every unit, they're like, oh, we should come up with a cool patch, like something that like we all fucking agree
at that point they're all about pride and things at that point,
right? But they're like, what did we experience, blah blah blah, and so then you come out with these shoulder patches, right? And that kind of just carried on, and that's that.
And that's how we get to where we were. But really interesting. But yeah, not a thing that you'd see like for the most part. So that's why I didn't depict any of that here.
Yeah,
a couple guys have some of the chevrons, but even that's not too much, But
what kind of chevrons?
So
like
the private first class, some sergeants.
Private. So what do you mean?
Well, like the single stripe. The single was that not a thing at the time? Because I don't.
Nope. So private first class is usually wasn't worn. It was also a round thing with your branch of service or whatever. Like if you're infantry, it would be like cross rifles.
I don't know if I put anyone on there, but that was just one off the top of my head.
So
I have a couple of sergeants in here.
Yeah, the only ones that you really see is like corporal or sergeant
So,
on the right shoulder.
Okay. Steven told me too, like some of the chevrons might be the red because they're Marines, but I don't know.
Disagree, but
Disagree.
Yeah.
I haven't painted it yet, so I'll follow up with him. But and again, like this is just sketched in; it can be changed pretty easily. But yeah, still learning World War I shit. I'm a novice when it comes to it.
we'll never know everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So.
very true. But I gotta hit the road, dude.
Yeah, all right, man. Yeah, some Marines did have chevrons, and some of them were red, but like, yeah. For October, probably not fucking red chevrons.
To be continued on that.
I think Steve just wants that for his own, like, because he was a Marine as well.
Of course, yeah, I know he's a vet.
Yeah.
All right, dudes. I'll see you later.
Yeah, man.
I'll
Dude,
see you again, Michael.
Yep.
This fucking beef stew, corned beef hash combo, very salty.
Yeah, I imagine.
Was really good.
But yeah, what I was saying was one thing that I really wish the 32nd would do is one, go back to just the arrow patch.
Oh, right.
Not with the big background, just the arrow patch. And two, pull a first ID and have their subdued patch be full color.
Dude, the red arrow, yeah, I agree 100%, dude. I've been saying this for years. I'd literally be able and like willing to walk up to the fucking brigade commander of the 32nd and pitch this and be like, dude, here's the patch.
Just put Velcro on the back of it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's just that.
Make it red. And when you deploy, make it black or green or whatever the fuck you want to do. Make it the actual red arrow, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been pissing me off for years. Because, yeah.
I don't even think I would subdue it for a deployment. I think I would just leave it red because the first ID guys don't.
It's red.
Yeah, the first ID guys don't subdue the one.
Yeah, fuck that. I would just say have the fucking red arrow.
Yep.
Be the red arrow, and it's the actual. There's no background like we had. I mean, here's the thing: is like if I like did anything with a uniform, I would still wear it because that's what I wore. But it's like no, like just fucking come on. Nope, it's the fucking red arrow.
That's all you need right there.
Exactly, 100%.
And the World War I style, yeah, the World War I style, or the World War II style.
Well, it's both. It's World War I, World War II in Korea, and through Vietnam they turn it black in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So, no, it's a red arrow for a reason.
That's what I would do, and something that I think would be fun if the Army were to do this is allow individual units with their dress uniforms to wear headgear that is historically relevant for that unit. Like in the case of the 32nd.
You're talking about the fucking Hardy hat.
Yes, I'm talking about the fucking Hardy hat. With
fucking
can
faggot,
you imagine?
I agree.
Can you imagine the dress uniform, not the service uniform, just the dress uniform? A whole bunch of Wisconsin National Guard guys in their full dress uniforms wearing a fucking Hardy hat
with a blue cord if they're infantry,
and
a
the
yellow
black
one if
feather.
they're fucking cav, a red one if they're fucking artillery.
Yep.
There you go.
And the black feather and the big gold shield.
Yep. Yeah.
That would look fucking good.
Yeah, because they're trying to like go back to like the pinks and the browns, and I'm like, well, you're convoluting about 4 different uniforms together, which I don't give a shit. I think it looks better than the fucking ASUs.
Yeah,
but
better than the Class A's too. Class A's looked like a used car dealership.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because I'm biased because you and I both wore them, but like, I don't know. I like the Class A's, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I actually don't know in the dress uniform. Like, I don't know.
I do like the pink. I do like the pinks and browns. I think that's one of the better looking dress uniforms that the Army's ever had. I really do.
Yeah,
like the World War II, early Korea ones, and then the modern ones. I think they're one of the best looking dress uniforms. I wouldn't mind if they were to figure out some way to do a callback to Revolutionary War uniforms or
dude,
even Civil
that
War
was their whole
uniforms.
point of the ASUs is like,
Yeah, but
we're gonna go back to
it
colonial, and it fell
fell on
way
its
fucking
face.
short. Well, what they
Well-
tried to do, man, is they tried to mimic the fucking Marine Corps dress blues.
Yeah, and that was just.
And I'm like,
retarded.
no,
Like,
we've
do
never
your
been
own
the
thing.
Marine Corps. Yeah,
Just
do your own thing.
You don't have to be
Like-
better than them. You don't have to be the same as them. Just
No,
do your own thing.
exactly. Like the Marine Corps is the Marine Corps is the Marine Corps. Let them do their thing. The Marine Corps dress blues are British Royal Marine uniforms that were slightly altered and had different buttons put on them. Same fucking concept. If you look at them, they got the Mandarin collar, yes.
Yep.
Whatever. Do your thing. They look great. Yeah, whatever. But the Army, now that I think about it, like the Army really hasn't ever had a good dress uniform. Like I wore my pickles until the day I died because that's what I fucking, that's my time. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, shit, like the ASUs were atrocious. Even the Army dress blues are not good. It's like if you're gonna have dress blues, yeah, why don't you give them a thick fucking wool tunic and the fucking pants that the white pants like in the Revolution, right?
Yeah.
If you want to go back to that, give them
That
a
would
thick.
that would be sharp.
Yeah,
That would be
with
absolutely
short
sharp.
boots, and a fucking tricorn. All right, let's do. Here's the thing: if they fucking guarded the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier with that uniform, you coming in your
That would-
pants, or what are you doing?
Yeah. I just did something involuntary.
God damn it! Get some fucking shit tickets or something to wipe that shit up. Fucking fag. But like
That would. Have you ever been to the Tomb of the Unknown?
I have not. No, I've never been to DC.
Yeah. I've been there quite a few times. I've seen the changing the guard quite a few times.
Do you want a
That
fucking medal or a cookie for that? Or
I mean, I have some medals.
so do I. You've got more than I do.
Yeah, I wasn't good enough.
All right, but anyway, yeah, dude,
But
yeah.
yeah,
So honestly, and also,
that-
also, you would tailor that with the buttons that said Virginia. Go ahead. Oh, okay.
My headset is a
It's
piece
all right.
of shit.
So you would tailor that, in my opinion, with the buttons that said Honor Guard on
Yep.
every single fucking one of them, like they actually did back in the day with regimental buttons and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, dude, if a fucking soldier walked around
Honor Guard or 3rd Infantry Regiment?
Honor Guard.
I think I would go with 3rd Infantry Regiment.
No, the tomb is the Honor Guard.
But they're a
I know what
subunit
they
of-
are. I know they're part of the 3rd Infantry Regiment. Yeah, I get that. But I would put on the buttons Honor Guard if you're going to be the guard at the tomb. That's my
Okay.
opinion. If you're going to be actually doing that duty, I would say Honor Guard on the buttons. Dude, tricorn fucking this uniform with whatever rifle they wanted to give him, an M14. Yeah. I don't care.
That
It's
would be amazing.
dude, the Brits still do the same shit. Nobody bats an eye.
Yeah, with the bearskin hats for
Yeah.
the
For
Royal
the
Guard.
Grenadier Guards and the Coldstream Guards and all that shit. Yeah. They don't give a fuck. Like, but they also
That-
carry L85A1s or A2s.
This uniform at the tomb would be fucking amazing.
I agree. Or yeah, like Virginia Reenactors just said, USA buttons. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
We need to get the Department of the Army on the phone like yesterday on this idea.
We're not gonna listen to some fat fucks from Wisconsin who were in the just the National Guard.
Hey, we're
know?
disabled vets. We are a protected class.
Correct. But like, I mean, fucking A. But yeah, USA buttons, like, dude, if you're gonna have a fucking dress uniform that's paying homage to, our roots, dude, the Brits still wear the same goddamn shit. I have fucking examples in the garage. The Grenadier Guards tunics.
Oh
They're-
shit!
What?
Townsend's has a picture where he's wearing, or he's wearing a Revolutionary War impression.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I mean, that's how he started. Like,
I didn't know that.
his dad, dude, if I ever buy a Rev War, like, coat from him, I'm gonna get it from him.
I didn't know that about him. All I knew is that he did the Frontier.
Oh, no. Dude, that guy is so far advanced in the knowledge of, like, the 18th century and all the uniforms. He started, like, Rev War reenacting as a kid.
Okay, I didn't know that about him. I didn't know that he
Really?
did Rev War.
Interesting.
No.
But anyway, so that uniform right there is what I think the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier should be guarded by forever.
Yes.
Because that is our first uniform. Even though it wasn't the U.S. Army, contrary to popular belief, because we didn't have an army until 1813, well, 14 arguably. That is what I would fucking dress that guy up in.
Yeah, we were the Continental Army.
We were, well, actually, the militia, if you want to get really technical. We were the Continental Militia. And then the Continental Army was a title for all the people who volunteered for whatever. But like, so my point is, like, wear a tricorn. You can carry a modern rifle. I don't give a fucking M14, a fucking M16A4. I don't give a shit what you're carrying with an extra magazine. Don't give a shit. But I think that should be the fucking.
I think they should have live ammo at the tomb.
They do, just not in the rifle. That's the thing. Is like they do have live ammo on them. I'm almost positive. Like those motherfuckers.
Their rifles don't even have magazines in them when they're on duty. When they're on.
I
guard.
know, but they have fucking whatever. I don't know that. It's out of my control. I don't give a shit. But yeah, I think they should carry around fucking rifles that have ammo accessible to them, and in this uniform, because I think
I like the bright. It's not really bright blue, but
really quick, dude. I just want to say about the uniform. Why I say this is, if you don't know where to start, go back to the beginning. That's why I think this should be the standard.
Yeah.
It should be the standard because, like, that is our beginning. Whether you agree with the fucking process of it, or, with all the violence and shit or not, who gives a fuck? That was our beginning right there. We came up with a blue uniform and we did that. We won the revolution. We won the War of 1812, barely, but we did. And that's part of our history. And that is the earliest fucking uniform.
But what I wanted to bring up with this was,
sure,
this is what I think the U.S. Army needs to do for their dress uniform. Not reproduce this, but make a modern uniform with a modern cut with these colors, with this color palette.
Dude, they said they tried to do that with the ASUs. That's what they said they tried to do. No, dude. Oh man, don't fuck with me on this one, because they literally said we tried to get as close to the colonial American uniform and still honor the blood. What it was again? It's like the ASU, or I'm sorry, the ACUs and UCP, right? It was somebody fucking got a fucking idea and they fucking went with it, and they were just like, "Well, we're just gonna roll with it," but they came nowhere close to the fucking colonial uniform of the United States.
No, they weren't even in the same zip code.
Fucking country. Had a cough there.
Thought you were choking on some army bullshit.
No, but no. Seriously, like, if our dress uniforms would be this and like would be this forever, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, that would look good.
Yeah, it's like, dude, white pants, a white undershirt, red trim. And here's the thing: if you wanted to do the fucking branch shit, okay, the red trim could be light blue for infantry. It could be yellow for cav. It could be fucking.
I don't think that would look as good.
You don't think so? How would you distinguish? Because every branch has their fucking thing, and rightfully
Power
so.
discs.
Yeah.
Power discs. I mean,
True.
they're there.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's always like these branches trying like one. Here's the thing: is if everybody
You
just
know,
had color discs.
what do you think of this? What do you think of this? So you know how you have currently you have the different the officer branch insignia
Yeah.
versus the enlisted branch insignia, where the
Yeah.
enlisted is on the disc. What would you think of everybody having the officer style brand insignia on the end of the sleeve? Like
I mean,
infantry would
personally, I'd
have
be fine with that. Yeah.
infantry
Cross
would have
rifles.
a big
MPs
cross
would have
rifles right
cross
there.
pistols. Fucking,
Yep.
special forces would have the cross arrows.
Yep.
Quartermaster would be on there. That's how it was in the First World War as a
That
PFC, but they never wore them.
this type of uniform with your branch insignia on your sleeve, that I think would look good.
Yeah, I mean that might be fucking cool. Like it's because here's the thing: is it's not a bigger dick thing.
Yeah.
It's like I just want to know what branch you're in. Oh, you're an MP. Fine, fuck it, we can deal with this. Or you're
and then for those of us who actually wear cords for our branch insignia, like infantry, you could have like a blue pleating or something on the edge of the collar.
Well, here's the thing: is that's where you're getting too complicated. I would say if what you said went, all that shit, all the cords and shit, and the discs and shit are gone because we're all equal.
Yeah.
We just show our branch of service.
Yep. Just have a pin right on the forearm.
And that's enough. That should be enough, right? Just go. That guy's infantry. That guy's an MP. That guy's fucking what do you call it? The sanitation, like
Artillery,
cooks and shit like that. Quartermaster, and,
Yeah.
and then signals, and then fucking ordnance. All that shit. Artillery.
And then use the point style chevrons for rank. You know how the West Point cadets have their rank chevron.
the downward facing ones.
Yeah.
I would stick with the fucking US like fucking upward facing ones.
The current style.
I would, yeah.
Well, I'm saying like the West Point style where they're just big and exaggerated and flowing.
Nah, I'd stick with the current style, the small ones.
Okay.
Because like we don't have to see each other from fucking 1,000 yards away. Well, okay, how about the dress uniform? Yes, but like
that's what I mean. Only on the dress uniform.
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. But like Mike B and 11 Bravo, U.S. Army Fashion Police Board. Dude, I'll do it. I have no fucking qualms to being a fashion police board to designing a fucking better U.S. dress uniform. Yeah. That looks gay. That looks like
this style. But only on the dress uniform.
I'd have it down lower though. Like that's the thing is like I'd have it down lower.
Yeah.
The rank itself.
But I'm saying the big chevrons for rank only
Sure.
and only on the dress
like
uniform.
Old school, like Span Am and back. Like they had the big fucking and that was to like see across the battlefield. Now on combat uniforms, I would have, dude. Again, I'll say this to you.
I actually like the current combat uniforms.
Okay, let me throw this one in your head. Vietnam slant pocket OG 107 jungle fatigues with ranks on the sleeves.
I do miss that. I do miss the rank being on the sleeve.
Yeah, because you can see them, and you can like when you're approaching them, you go, "Morning, Sergeant."
Or even better yet, you know that the officers don't wear the rank on their sleeves, and you know what a buck private looks like, or a no stripe private.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
You're not going to mistake an officer for an enlisted man again.
Vietnam jungle fatigues, in my opinion, and I asked Bruce this, Wozniak. I asked him this several times, and he agrees. And the OG 107 fucking 100% cotton ripstop jungle fatigues were probably the best uniform best combat uniform the U.S. has ever fucking fielded, and I agree with him. You never worn them though, have you?
No.
Yeah. So you're a
style?
virgin. Uh-huh. I'm gonna send you a little picture on Discord really quick.
It's you wearing those, isn't it? That you've probably posted before and
No,
I've seen
it's
it.
not. It's something better. Jake, come on, it's me. Where the fuck is it? Don't share this. But who do you see on the left?
That's Waz. I've
Yep.
seen this picture before.
Yeah. So what is he wearing in that picture?
Yeah, he's wearing the Vietnam jungle fatigues. Was this this had to have been during Panama?
Around that time. Yep.
He was a mean looking motherfucker back then, wasn't he?
Still is. Still was. On deployment, man. You don't fuck with that dude. You don't fuck with that dude.
No.
Like, that's a dude that
he softened. He saw his appearance has softened in his age a little bit.
if he heard
His
you say
appearance.
that,
His appearance.
If he heard
Not-
that, he'd fucking destroy your testicles. You know
He
that.
would laugh. You know he would laugh.
Yeah, he'd be like, "What? What?" Yeah. No,
He
but
would laugh, and then he'd buy us a beer.
I was talking with him a little bit like a week ago or some shit. It's on the phone. And I you I think I don't know if we talked about this. I think we have on the stream before, but like I was talking to Waz about it, and he didn't remember this because I just went, we always sit there and reminisce, we bitch about like the bad things that happened, blah 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 blah. But I'm like, do you remember in Texas when we were at the fucking ranges? Yes, we have talked about this before, but for the viewers, and all of a sudden you just hear nothing, and then you hear Indian boy. Indian boy. And we're like, oh fuck, okay, we all like get off the range, stop like, picking up shit and setting up shit. We go out to the fucking road, and of course Indian boy shows up. And I told him about that. He goes, "Oh fuck! I thought that was so fucked up that they were all bitching at us about like these names and shit, and they just had Indian boy coming out to service, fucking military personnel." He's like, "I thought that was so fucked up, but it was so funny," and that's why he could spot it from a fucking mile away. And then we would always like buy like $10 worth of burritos, which is a lot because they're like $2 a pop.
You
Like,
bought
stuff
$10 worth of burritos. You weren't going hungry the rest of the day.
No, that's the thing is we didn't want MREs, so we're like, well, I'll just fucking stuff my pockets. I'll go lay on the 240 Bravo range and fucking just send shit down. They'll be smushed, whatever, but they're good. And
What you do is you leave them wrapped in the aluminum foil and you set them on top of the handguard. That way they get
good
the heat
idea,
from the barrel.
but I didn't think about that because I was actually doing my job.
Well, that's because you actually cared.
I actually did about marksmanship. That's the one thing like I really gave a shit about is marksmanship.
I didn't.
So
At that point in my military career, I didn't give a fuck about anything.
no, I get that, but like anyway, but you remember being out there because like we had both the platoons out there.
Yeah.
And you just hear Waz, Indian boy, and that man's voice,
and the fucking range emptied,
dude. Half mile on land, you can hear his voice when he screams.
Oh, that's right. He was an officer. I was gonna say I want to know why he was never a drill instructor, but yeah, he was an officer.
Or drill, he would have been a fucking phenomenal drill sergeant. Man, that guy would have been.
He would have been scary. He would have been a scary drill sergeant.
Dude, well, like I think I was telling you this. I don't know if it was on stream or in private, but like when we were in Florida, right? I think it was both platoons were like in this very big like LZ kind of area, and we were all facing out in the woods pulling security. and we took fire and shit like that. And there was like the Op4 guys were from Florida, and they were like the SF group from Florida,
Yeah.
but they weren't playing the game at all, and they were just like Ramboing it.
Yeah.
And then,
I
and then
remember
you just
that.
hear from across the fucking field, which is like literally a quarter mile, you hear, "No, play the fucking game!"
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm sitting there going,
I was fucking
"Oh,
yelling it
no."
too. I was fucking yelling it
Yeah,
too.
because I think you guys were, because you had a saw, and like you were.
I was supposed to be
Yeah.
the team leader, and Stobes was supposed to be the squad leader for that exercise.
Right, but like you had this. I remember you had the saw because you came out
Yeah.
from that, and Waz flipped the fuck. He's like,
Yeah.
"No, you play the fucking game," and I'm like,
Yeah,
the
because
hell
I
is
was yelling down there at him. I saw him moving, and I was I was
yeah,
on the
because
saw,
you guys
and
lit
I
him
was-
up, and then you hear a bunch
and I
of
was like,
gunfire
"You're
afterwards.
fucking dead."
Yep, and then Waz came up and defended you and the other guys that
Yeah.
had dropped him, quote unquote. We're shooting blanks, and then dude, across the field, I'm like, oh god, Waz is pissed, like legitimately pissed off.
Yeah.
This is not good.
Yeah.
If he would have been my
That-
drill sergeant, that would have been deaf in ears.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't march down there in the middle of this firefight and start kicking them.
Well, he was about to, dude. He was like really fucking mad because he's like, dude, the guys just shot you. Because we heard your guns go off, right? And we're like, okay,
Yeah.
there's contact, whatever. And then we heard more guns like shooting back at us, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and then we just heard a bunch of shooting, and we're like, because I mean, for like what it is, like our unit was actually really fucking good. All the flaws we had, really good at taking contact and like fucking reacting to it and getting it done.
Yeah, that's actually one thing Penny said to me one drill weekend. I was being a DD because that was before I really drank.
Yeah.
But one drill weekend, after training was done, he's like, "Listen, I don't want to talk shop, but I'm going to tell you this: you are the best saw gunner that I've ever had in my platoon."
Yeah. Our entire unit was that. Yeah.
And he said, because you're not afraid to pull the trigger. All these other.
Yep. And that's the thing is like when I hear people talking shit about the National Guard, I know why, of course, but like our unit was actually very fucking proficient
and
like
aggressive.
And very well, yeah. We've talked about that, but we're like we're
sometimes a little too aggressive.
Yeah, but okay, assess the threat, eliminate the threat. That's kind of our. But here's the thing: is we did it very well for a National Guard unit. We're very fucking proficient. Here's the thing: personally, I didn't get along with a lot of people in the unit. Professionally, on the job, I was like, I know you know your job. We're good. Like we're okay. And that's why like our unit was pretty fucking sweet. And I think it was the most part for like the 128th in general. From when I've talked to people from other units and shit.
The 128th was a fantastic battalion to be in.
Yep. They were like the fucking the shards passed down of the Iron Brigade. Yeah. But yes, I mean, no, seriously, I'm saying that in all seriousness, is like those guys, I was not afraid at all about anytime we came in contact. I was like, these guys, we're good to go. Mm-hmm. Personally, yeah, we've got some issues. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you.
Couldn't stand the vast majority of my of my chain of command.
But seriously, like think about that like really quick is like professionally though, dude. I don't know a single besides Brian. Well, even he was okay in a big setting, but like I don't know anybody who like I didn't trust and who wasn't good at their actual job, And so that's cool. Like that's really cool to like be in a unit like that where you're like very good at what you do.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people have got that, unfortunately, and a lot of people, But yeah, it's I do love our unit. Like honestly, Bravo Company one of the 128, from when I was in 08 to 2012. Good bunch of dudes,
Mhm.
and for the most part, but like for the most part, that's what I'm saying is like most of them, you dude, you do your job and you're really good at it, and that's why we
Yeah.
all made it back. So
Yep. And we had, even though they were some shitty fucking people, we
yep.
had some damn good NCO leadership, first line leaders.
Well, and the lower enlisted is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Like
Yep.
even the douchebags, whatever. Again, professionally, really good at the job. We had some really good fucking really talented people, and yeah,
Yeah.
like all that bullshit aside, like the personal shit and whatever that came out. But no, I mean, I'm very very happy to have served at that company because they were fucking awesome.
Yep. It was a lot of good times.
Yeah, it was, and
I
like that's
I
the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of hated the fact that the Det one, that third platoon, didn't really come down to New Richmond all that often to drill with the whole company.
Yeah, and that posed a problem for personal things in Iraq. I think that was not a good idea, like army wise, like for them to like be in that position. So we had a lot of personal things that were just weird. Professionally, they were good. They did their job and they were really good at it. But like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Is like, I wish it would have been more of okay. If you're Det one, we're gonna figure out a way to get you here and drill with your entire company, and not just feel like you're secluded and these guys think less of you or whatever. It's like no, it's not like that. Like, those guys were awesome at their job, and that's all we cared about.
Yeah.
Like when it boils down to it, like that's all we gave a shit about is like, are you good at your job? Okay, fine. Our personal beef, that's a secondary issue. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, and it's like of all of the personal beefs that I had with my chain of command, it's like there's not many of them that I wouldn't have at least followed their orders in combat.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
I
thing is
mean,
like, you're good at your
there
job. Yeah.
there were some that I would been that I've been like, fuck you, I'm not following you. I'm not following you into cold water.
Yeah, but that's like we
But
always we
it
always tend to focus, like myself
but it
included,
wasn't
with
but it wasn't the first line leaders.
no, and it also wasn't everyone. It was just a few, and they sucked, obviously. But like most of the people that we were with were fucking really talented people. Like think about that job and what it entails and how much fucking thought has to go into it and like whatever. And it's like, dude, I really haven't ran into a group of people who are that like cohesive and like competent at just doing work
Yeah.
since then. And being able to put like personal shit aside and being like that cohesive and like good at work.
Yeah, and it really fucking sucks with my career being what it is because of the vast age differences between the most senior employees and the most junior employees. And the senior employees basically get everything they fucking want handed to them on a silver platter, and they can do no wrong
Yeah.
because union.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's another fucking stick in the machine. But I mean, here's the thing: is like you were good at your job, I was good at my job, and most of the other people that we were with were good at their jobs. That's why we're still here, right?
And honestly, that's one of the biggest bitches I have about the world in general, especially right now, is it's like, okay, let's look at the workforce in general. And what do you have to do to stand out in any job? And it's at this point, it's you have to do the bare minimum. That's it. That's all that's required these days to stand out in the workforce. You show
Yeah.
up on time, preferably sober, and you do the bare minimum of what's expected of you from the time you start until the time you leave.
But I mean that.
And there's people who can't even do that much.
Okay, yeah, okay, yep, okay, yep. That makes sense because it's like all that was expected of us in the military was the bare minimum.
Yeah,
That's all you had. That's all you had to do, really.
yeah. But there's
And
people in the
yeah.
civilian world that I encounter on a daily basis who can't even do the bare minimum.
Well, then they shouldn't be in that job. They should find something
But
else
they
that's more
are.
suited to them. I know, I get that. But like they should be able to find something that more suits their proclivities and like their skills and talents. I think everybody is talented at something. And it's like if you're not talented at something and you're trying to force it, well, you're just gonna fuck that up. Like you're gonna make
And
everybody's
maybe
life more miserable.
and maybe I'm just biased because I've been talented at everything I've applied myself to. Everything that I've actually, put effort into doing, I've been able to do it quite successfully. Maybe it's just me being biased, but
Yeah, I mean, that's I mean, yeah, I mean, same here, honestly.
I mean, there's things that I've done that I didn't enjoy doing, but I was still good at doing them.
Right. But it's like you were also not fucking loving life while you were forced to do them, you know? It's like
No, like I
so
said, I didn't enjoy doing them.
right. But like I don't know, I think there's a place for everybody in this world. I really do. Um I think that everybody's good at something. And I just think that we're trying to force a fucking square peg through a round hole with everyone to try and get to this bigger picture of prosperity and everybody, whatever. And I don't think that's conducive to a good society. I think if you're good at driving a truck, grabbing gravel, and running 3 loads a day for the rest of your life to pay your bills, cool, good on you. If you're good at welding, um, pipes and shit, gas lines and shit like that, and you're making $170,000 a year doing it like 6 months out of the year, good for you. If you're good at teaching, which, yeah, um, good for you. Like I think people are being forced to do things they're not good at, and they're being like propped up, like, oh, you can do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. That's my opinion. It's like
Yeah.
you're either good at something or you're not, in my opinion. And I don't fucking look down on somebody for not being good at something that I'm good at, because it's like, well, they're not me. That's a different person, and they have different experiences, and their brains wired differently. If they're good, they're going to be good at something, and it's probably something that I'm not good at. That's how we survive, and that's how we, I hate to use the term, but like coexist. Is like we allow each other to exist based on what we're good at. And we also have to know our weaknesses, and that's fine. We're not going to be good at everything. You can't be. You're a human, you know? That's my opinion. Like, we're limited on what we can be really fucking good at. And when you find those things, awesome. Fucking lean into them. But, I think people are just pressured so much to do shit that they're not good at and they don't want to do. And that's where you get a lot of this fucking incompetence and this ineptitude. Um, in society in general, not just, well, it kind of boils over from work into their family life and shit because they're angry, they're pissed off, they don't feel like they've done enough, blah blah blah, they're a failure. No, you're not a failure. You just haven't found your fucking, like, what you're actually good at, your niche, where you fit in, your little crack. And I think that's a big problem with society, uh,
Yeah.
among other
And
things. But
and personally, I'm getting sick of driving. I'm getting sick of driving truck. I'm getting sick of always being fucking gone. Getting sick
yeah,
of 12 to 14-hour days. And I've got an exit plan, and it's going to take a few years to work it.
yep, I,
But
I know other people who are in the same
I'm
spot.
I'm going to wait until I have verified 1 million miles under my belt. I'm unverified right around 750,000 right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait until I have a verified 1 million miles, and then I'm going to look for a dispatching job.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is, again, society forces people to do things they don't want to do. And it doesn't mean they're the best at it.
Yeah,
And therefore, you get people that you work with, that you've told me about. You
Yeah.
get people that you work with, and then it makes your life more miserable, and it makes everybody's life fucking hell. And I don't think that's a good thing for society as a whole. So,
and especially since I just got my VA rating upgraded. Like I literally just found out during the stream tonight. I'm up
nice.
to 70% overall. That's almost an extra $2,000 a month that I don't have to work for.
Yeah, and yeah,
That's going to be fucking huge because literally I got my regular paycheck today. Holly paid the bills and went grocery shopping and did a couple of other shopping errands that we had to have done. And she didn't buy any luxury items this time. It was only stuff that we absolutely needed.
yep.
We got $100 in the bank to last us the rest of the week until next Friday.
I get you, man. It's been real. It's been real for a lot of people too.
And
So
I make good money. Like I'm not tooting my horn. I'm not bragging about
no,
anything.
it's a struggle, dude. I get it. It's been. Trust me, I make good money too. But good money means
Is
you're
barely
getting
surviving
by.
right now.
You're getting by.
Yeah.
So
It's like fuck this economy.
yep. But I mean, we'll get through it, man.
I can't afford to buy a gallon of paint to paint my bathroom.
Well, here's the thing, dude, is all right. You and I are still alive. We're breathing right now, right? You're still breathing. You're not just a fucking puppet, like Weekend at Bernie's kind of shit. Okay, yeah. I got a pulse. I'm breathing.
It was thready there for a second.
Yeah, me too. We can make it, and everybody that's listening, either now or after the fact, you're gonna make it. You're okay. You can handle it. Because you've handled it to this point. Life's a bitch. It sucks sometimes. But if you focus on things that are good and you realize that there are certain things that are within your control and that are not in your control, it makes things a lot easier. That's what I've learned. Take from it what you will. But we're all still alive. We're all breathing. We're all sitting here. We're good. And things might be bad right now, but we can make it. We have made it. There's no evidence to suggest that you can't make it because we're all here. So that's just my opinion at this point.
It's a good opinion. It's good words to maybe not to live by, but to factor into your daily equation.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you think about it. But like, yeah, you can handle it. You can handle anything that's thrown at you. You can handle it.
And just remember, yeah, it sucks, but it will end at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will get better at some point.
It does get better. The whole thing about like, oh, it's just going to get worse. It's going to keep getting worse. Yeah, that's the way I've been thinking for the past 20-ish years. And no, it's not true. Things will get better. We're all in this together.
And sometimes it's just the everyday slog. Sometimes that's all you can do is just you go through the motions every day.
Yep.
But welcome to being an adult.
Welcome to just being a human.
Yeah.
It's every day. It's one day at a time.
Welcome to existing.
Yeah.
It's like half the time I can't differentiate between a Tuesday and a Friday.
What day is it? It's Tuesday?
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
You're the dude.
My Monday is actually Tuesday because my work week is Tuesday through Saturday. There's some days where I can't differentiate between Tuesday and Friday.
Right.
Because it's exactly the same.
I get that too, and because I'm self-employed, so I'm like, I do work every day, which is funny. Like I work 7 days a week, but I don't work like 8-9 hours a day usually. I'll just like split it up and shit, and so I lose track of days too. And it's weird working for yourself, and but you're still working just as much. It's just a lot more controllable, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to take a break, you can take a break.
I can take a break, exactly. And then I go back to it, and I'm looking at my sewing pile, which I made for myself today, and I actually got a lot done. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just like, dude, we can all make it through it. You made it this far, you're fucking golden, dude. Like, yeah, it sucks. Some days you want to bitch about things, some things go wrong, whatever. Listen to music, let yourself fucking be yourself, and also let emotions happen. That's the thing that I've recently learned is let emotion. If you want to cry, fucking cry. Like, if you want to fucking scream, lash out, and just fucking get anger out, scream. You're allowed to do that. Just because society says you can't do that, fuck them.
And anybody who wants to have kids and is thinking, well, the economy's not right or I can't afford it, blah blah blah, have kids. Like there is no greater feeling in the world than pulling into your driveway after a long day at fucking work and you want to murder somebody and you see your child at the window pounding on the window and smiling and pointing because you just pulled into the driveway. That like I've got two sons. They're 1 and almost 3, and they are my recharge. Like it doesn't matter how shitty of a day I had. It doesn't matter if I want to park my truck on my dispatcher's desk while he's sitting at it. I pull in the driveway and I see my boys at the window. All of that it evaporates. I
But
cannot
also
be
that
mad.
works for you, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Like, but if somebody's like just on the fucking verge, maybe having kids isn't like the end all be all, like solution.
But it changes your outlook on existence.
Changes your outlook on existence.
Everybody I've ever talked to had said
Sure.
it changed them as soon as they held their child for the first
Sure,
time.
but that might not be for everybody right now. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
one of the things my wife and I talk about all the time is like we wish we would have started earlier. We've
okay,
got 2. We're only going to have 2. We're like we wish we would have started 5 years ago.
yes, but that's very subjective. That's your experience, and that's valid. It works, but like, it doesn't mean that everybody should do that. If they're not, it's not like a big deal. Like if they don't want to have kids, if they can't have kids, whatever, it's not a big deal. That works for you, and that's fine.
I said if you want kids, have them.
There you
go. Don't wait.
Yeah. Well, giving advice
because the money will never be right.
Well, yeah, that's a whatever. Like whatever, you can make it happen. But like, yeah, I mean, it's everybody's got their thing, and it's all good. Like, I just want people to know that like things are okay, even though they're all fucked up, and they seem like they're just never getting better. You can make it. You can handle it. All of it.
If you don't know where to start, go back to the beginning.
Anything free is worth saving up for.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Like one of the things is because my wife's a full-time stay-at-home mom. One of the things that she's always doing is trying to find activities to keep the boys entertained and get them, exposed to new things. She's always looking around the community looking for free things that she can do. And she finds it, and she's finding other parents and other kids that they can that they can.
Our society's it's like revolving around you got to spend money to be happy, basically. It's like no, you fucking don't. And yeah, no name Lyman or Lehman, whatever the fuck. Never. How do you pronounce that fucking
Lyman?
Okay,
Lyman.
So I was right.
It's like the reloading equipment, Lyman scales.
Right, that's what I was saying. So yeah, I mean, he even says a 33-year CDL driver talking one day at a time. It does get better. Ain't no 1 inch pew
Ain't no one pew-pewing at you.
Yeah, that's correct, man. Like, oh, you're correct. I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down right now. Yeah, there's nobody shooting at you. If they
Unless
do
you
shoot
drive
at
through
you,
Chicago at 3:00 in the morning.
Well, but here's the thing: is even if they do shoot at you, you can handle it. If you die, you die. That's out of your control. That's out of your control. You fucking whatever. That's your time. But like, if you get shot at, you can fucking handle it. You just fucking hit the gas. So I mean, that's the thing is, I think a lot of people are just really like, really beaten the fuck down.
Yeah,
And
it's not good right now.
no, but it doesn't have
Like
to be terrible.
the environment that we're living in right now is just not good. It can get better, it can get worse, but we're at a point right now where it could literally go either way.
Yeah, but is that in your control?
No,
Is that in my
no.
control? No. And
If
so,
it is in your, you better fix it.
not my control. It's not like it's not, just, oh, whatever fucking would have happened, do what thou wilt. But like, no, it's like, man, at some point, what helped me a lot in my therapy the past few months is like, I've realized that I always think that I should be in control of so many more things in my life than I'm actually able to be in control of. And then therefore you kind of like lose control of yourself. And that's really the only thing you have control over is yourself and your actions and your surroundings. Now you can choose to like take control of other things in your life and, whatever, but like if you're not in control of yourself and basically your cup is already fucking full, you can't give water to anyone else. Like you have to it's just a weird thing. Like I'm kind of like ADHD rambling right now, but like it's a very liberating feeling to realize that you don't have control over all the shit that society tells you that you should be in control of.
Mhm.
Like the election, like this and that and all this shit around you. Like you're in control of your actions and what you do. That's that. And the
Yeah,
loved ones, of course. Like you if you're married, if you got a significant other, that is within your control, of course. Like, and that is your responsibility. But like past that, man, like
but you also have to remember that all of all those loved ones that are your responsibility also have their own um they're also in control of themselves too.
there you go.
Like
Yes,
you
exactly.
can't
Like
you can't control. I got a 3-year-old. You think anybody can control him? He's not quite 3. He
yeah, I
does what
mean,
he wants on
no,
his terms.
that's what I mean. Like what you can control is you can provide safety and security to an extent while he's
And
around you,
guidance
and that
and
that
yep.
the guidance thing is a funny thing because it's like we were always taught from the boomers all this advice, all this shit. Like, well, if you got to do it this way, you got to do it. This is how you do this, and it's like, well, life itself is like traumatic. It's going to cause trauma. You cannot prevent that, in my opinion. You cannot prevent that. Life is just shit happens, whatever. And I think a lot of people, myself included, dwell on the fact that we think we could have done more in a situation in the past to control that situation and like, oh shit, whatever. And we try to apply it to nowadays, and it's not true because we're not in that situation right now. That's what I've been learning a little bit. And it's actually been very helpful it's been like liberating to just kind of go, well, it's actually if I go out in public, right? So a little caveat, because like very few people are watching right now. Well, they'll probably watch after the fact. Who knows? I don't give a shit. When I go out to Walmart, I get like fucking anxiety attacks, right? I don't like being out in public. I don't like being around people in general. It's just weird. But here's the thing: is like, how many times has somebody actually attacked me out in public? Zero. Zero. My brain always goes back to when I was attacked, way back when, right? Okay. So now I'm trying to like rewire my brain and go, what I have control over is my actions and my body in my mind. That's fine. It works. It actually does. And it's not true. Like, and if somebody does attack me, I can handle it, right? I know I can handle it. And yeah, it's just a weird thing. Like, I think people seek control and like whatever over situations and or responsibility. They think that things are their responsibility when they're not, if that makes sense. Because control and responsibility, I'm using control as kind of like a weird word for responsibility in this case. But like it's not your responsibility for somebody else's emotions or their actions unless it affects you. Then it is, you know?
You're responsible for your reaction to
Correct.
external stimuli.
And you have control over that. Yeah.
And that's what a very large portion of the U.S. population doesn't seem to understand. You have control over your reaction. You are responsible for your reaction.
Correct.
If something is triggering you, that is your problem, not whoever triggered you.
Right. And I wish that more people would have access to actual like therapy and shit like that, like to get them through these issues. Because I think as a whole, our society it's a very traumatized society. Like if you think about it,
Yeah,
like
the problem there is that you have to first realize that you have a problem that needs to be addressed through.
and you have to want it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You have to want to get
You
better.
have to recognize that there's a problem, and then you have to want to fix it. And most of the people that we see who are being affected by external stimuli that they're not in control of, they don't even recognize that they have a problem. They think they're fine because they've been told their whole lives that they're a special little snowflake.
It's not necessarily that. That's part of it. I think that's a small slice of the pie. I think too I mean it's a lot of neglect and just emotional neglect.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
here's the thing is I'm not saying you gotta be coddled and like, oh god, because that also has its own ramifications. But
Yeah.
like I think people have been in the United States because we're constantly in fucking wars. Constantly. And then people have kids who are in wars. This is my opinion, by the way. This is not a fucking fact, but there are stats that support this. I think that people become so emotionally unavailable because they themselves don't have their own ability to handle their emotions and their thoughts and their feelings. And then it just, their kids like are just there, right? And so they have to develop their own things, and then they become, the parents are sometimes abusive or neglectful or whatever. Either way, and there's not a balance. It's either one or the other, right? It's black and white thinking, and that's kind of how it comes out in parenting. Since God fucking well forever, basically. And I think there's a solution to it. I just don't know what the fuck that solution is and what that balance is.
And even if you knew what the solution and the balance was, don't have the ability to implement it. We're pawns on the board. We're not moving the pieces.
Yeah, and it's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to do the best that we possibly can with what we have control over. That's it. And I don't know, it seems like in the past few generations it went the opposite way of like, well, that is not my response. My responsibility is to feed you, clothe you, and shelter you. That's it. But it's like, no, humans are humans, and we need some sort of emotional guidance, but
Yeah,
not just straight up advice giving or like, you got to do this, whatever, or whatever, and also not just nothing.
That's one of the biggest things that I'm trying to show my kids through my actions is that I'm emotionally available to them.
Yeah, it's tough to do though if you're not emotionally available, and people in the past and present have, dude, when your cup is fucking full,
There's no room for anybody else.
there's no room. It's all about you.
Yeah.
You have to, because you have to worry about you because you're in survival mode. Like you're, constantly.
And one of the things that I learned real quick after I had kids was it's not about me. It's about them. I have to I'm working my ass off to provide for them, and I need to find the balance between being able to get the resources to provide, but also being there for them. And that is so fucking hard. I have gotten into so many arguments with my boss and with my dispatchers about you guys are fucking me hard. Like you guys are the ones who are in charge of my schedule. I plan my home life around my work schedule because I have to, I have to gain so many resources. I have to make so much money to be
Yeah.
able to support my family. It's like you guys need to understand that you can't just run me 13, 14 hours a day every single day. I do have other responsibilities outside of this truck. And I'm not going to ask for the time off because I still have responsibilities inside this truck. And I know what my position in the company is. My position is to haul the loads and bring revenue into the company.
Yeah.
And if I'm asking for time off, I'm not doing my part of the arrangement.
Was
But
yeah. Yep.
it's like, yeah, every relationship is a transactional relationship. You don't form a relationship with another human being unless both of you are going to benefit from it somehow. And sometimes that other human being is an organization or an entity like a business. It's like if you have a relationship, a professional relationship with a business, it's because you have something they want and they have something you want. And it's
I
a
mean,
matter of
you can look at it that way.
it's a matter of negotiating to whatever benefits both of you the most.
Yeah, it's one way to look at it, I guess.
And that's how I look at employment. It's like, okay, you have financial resources that I want. I have skills that you need to acquire those resources.
That's a pretty black and white way to look at things, though.
I have no loyalty to my employer beyond my paycheck.
Yeah.
If they don't pay me what what I need to support my family, I'll find another one. I'm at the same place that I've been at for the last 3 years. So, they're supporting their end of the agreement as much as they piss me off on occasion. I'm still supporting my end of the agreement. I'm sure I pissed them off too. But we're both still providing what the other requires.
It's very black and white thinking, but yeah, I get it. I get it.
That's
So
just the way I look at the world.
no, it's fine. It's whatever. I mean, it is what it is at this point. Like, yeah, it's as long as you're providing for your family and being there for them as much as you can. That's your responsibility, in my opinion. Like,
And at some point the status quo is going to change. Either my financial requirements will reduce or my time requirements will increase. Something will change. Well, my
yeah,
financial requirements already reduced.
yep,
Right now, if I wanted to roll my disability income into my monthly budget, which I really don't want to do and haven't done so far, um, I could quit this job and get a job that pays half as much.
correct.
But I don't want to roll that disability money into my monthly budget if I don't have to. So I keep doing what I'm doing.
So why would you not? Why would you not roll it into your monthly budget for your family?
Because it's a sink. It's a way that I can save up money for bigger things, bigger purchases that I foresee coming and that I want to do, without tapping into the monthly budget. Because right now my work income is good enough to cover all the bills and have a little bit left over. It's enough. It's enough to cover all of our living expenses and have a little bit left over, but not enough to save for any large purchases. Whereas my disability money is enough that all I got to do is sit on it and pretend like it doesn't exist, and it will accumulate to a point where, hey, I want to put a concrete floor in my shop, and it's going to cost 15 grand. Well, I got 15 grand sitting in the bank. Or I want to get a down payment on a construction loan so I can build a new house.
Right. And I don't know. I guess you and I just think differently about that sort of thing, because I don't view it as my money or it accumulates for a big purchase. I view it as anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, fucking cool.
I mean, if my weekly income wasn't enough to support the family and pay all of our required spending, it would be a different story.
No, it
As
wouldn't.
of right now, my regular income is enough to support the family. So
Okay, yeah. Well, what happens if you get fired? Well, let's just end the stream really quick. I want to talk to you about this for a sec, personally, like off fucking public shit. Later, guys.
I
What's the
think
keyword? What's the keyword?
Boise,
Boise, Boise, Idaho.
yes.